We call this meeting to order. I'm going to ask Chris Wilcutt to lead us in prayer.
Lord, thank you for this day, and thank you for allowing us to come and conduct the business of this county. Lord, just be with us. Give us the wisdom that we need to make the decisions to make this the place that we call home. Lord, just be with all of our elected officials and those that work for the county and its employees. Protect them and guide them each and every day as they go throughout their day. Lord, just be mindful and to remind us of the blessings that you give us each and every day, and we're just so thankful for living where we do. All these things I ask in your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, let's call to order and start with a pledge to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Hope everybody's doing well today. So we're going to start this morning with an amendment to the December 13th, 2022. Basically what that is we need to add the county coroner to that list of bond writers for the county. I guess I need a motion on that.
I'll make them. We're amending the minutes, is that what we're doing?
Yes, sir.
All right. Which number is it?
Amendment order number 14 in the December 13th.
All right, Jason.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended order number 14 as presented.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Yes.
Harper, Crawford,
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Okay. Now we need to approve the minutes from the past 3 meetings. That would be December 13th, December 29th, and January the 3rd.
Do we do those separately or all together?
I think whatever your preference is.
If there's no changes to them, Jason, I'd do all 3 of them.
The only change would be the December 13th where we made that amendment.
He's already done it,
So we've already made that. So
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the January 3rd, 2023 meeting, the December 29th, 2022 meeting, and the December 13th, 2022 meeting.
Second.
okay. I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? If none, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Okay, our next order is approve bills.
The only question I have about the bills is we're still paying Copper Band Technologies to monitor and manage antivirus software for $1,500.
No, they do more than that. I saw it on there. It's not, they provide the software, it's part of the yearly updates and the fees, but they also do our MVPs and our things like that, the cruisers. They help keep that stuff going.
Is it monthly or yearly?
It's monthly. It's part of the CJA stuff that they're certified in handling. Our MVTs are linked to the dispatching and CI and all that jazz, and they're certified to work on that type of equipment.
Scott, is that something that you become certified in, or?
I have not.
Okay. Maybe we can work on that
Absolutely.
I can work on that, yes.
and get you certified.
Which one was
I'm not sure yet.
It's on the first page. Copper Band, 1,500.
Copper band, just look for it right there, number 1,500, about 2,000 away down. Look for the number 1,500, right
Oh,
there.
okay.
Okay, we'll look into that, Tyler.
Okay.
Anybody make a motion?
No, not yet. Where are we
I'll
at?
make a motion to accept the
First one.
vendors bill list here totaling $835,174.23.
Got supplemental too.
And the supplemental
Yes.
as attached.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Do we have any discussion?
Tyler, what about this AT&T deal? The AT&T charges still on here, is Electric Company still working on that?
I think
Did it?
they did that connection with the plant board. You don't know?
I was,
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know. I don't think our IT guy was involved, so I don't know. I have an answer for that.
Okay.
I think they did. But
Bill would be a month behind anyway.
yeah,
wouldn't it?
probably a
Okay.
month behind.
We can check on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, call, and see if that's up and going, and if we need to do anything to cancel that service.
Yeah, it is working on that with the, as far as the building side goes, she's been talking to AT&T, so she is working on it. And Thomas is right, it is a month behind.
Yeah. God bless her. That's all
I
I'm
think we had
saying.
everything canceled on it, they just, of course, that's just last month. But, me and Hannah have worked with AT&T some, and Derek has done his part of getting everything installed down there. So that should be the last one.
Okay.
Awesome.
Is there any other questions? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodman,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Okay, we got that taken care of. Treasurer's report, Linda. Excuse me.
You put a S on the end of that, Judge. Got all kinds of papers in there.
Yeah, that is the truth. I mean, you know, talk about information overload for a first timer.
Okay, so good morning. I do have several items for you today. On a quarterly basis, I'm going to bring you this big stack of papers for us to talk about. So in your folders, you have our financial statement ending 12/31/2022. You have our appropriation condition report ending December 31st, 2022, as well as a list of outstanding purchase orders and the third-party financial statement on our Public Properties Corporation ending December 31st, 2022. The balance in the general fund was $1,993,748.91. Road fund, $479,223.78. Jail fund, $199,454.44. LGEA, $59,150.01. Federal grants fund, $854.68. Solid waste recycling, $517,037.84. Parks and Recreation Fund, $751,921.94. Occupational tax, $6,971,843.51. Life skills, $153,895.31. 911 fund, $71,069.86. Health insurance fund, $644,684.37. County clerk storage fees, $19,228.33. ARPA funds, $5,277,722.05. We've added a new fund that is NOSF, which is the National Opioid Settlement Fund. And the balance in that fund is $136,669.53. Special reserve, $4,189,591.29, for a total of all funds, $21,466,095.85.
Move to acknowledge.
Second.
Just give it 1 second, so every court meeting, or once a month, you'll have this report. Now, it won't be as thick because we won't have any of this other stuff because this is year end. These are your cash balances for every one of those accounts. So if you ever wanted to know, hey, what's in the Parks and Recs account, cash balance.
This one is the S1.
Yeah, you know, there's your general fund, there's your road fund, jail, LG, federal
just
grants,
like
all the
tourism
grants,
funds
right there, you're
collected
my tax. That's
from
your
hotels.
cash balance.
So we actually, those funds get turned into us, and then on your bill list, you'll see a transfer of exactly what we collected to the Tourism Commission, and then they handle those funds as far as disbursement goes,
So we never really see
And at the end of the year, you'll
guess
have.
we get
where it goes or how it's
how much it
spent.
is.
They bring she brings a sheet of the monies and money go later.
At the end of the year.
Actually, she went over this with me yesterday, but something I got.
It's a lot of papers here, first court
Thank you,
meeting.
Thomas.
You're very welcome.
Okay, so we've had a, Thomas, did you?
I made a motion, I think Jason seconded it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. We've had a motion and a second. We have any discussion? Roll call?
Davenport,
Yes.
Yes.
Wilcox,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
You also have in your court folders today a list of budget transfers that we need to have approved.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We have any discussion? Okay, no discussion. Roll call?
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcox,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
There it is, right there.
And so you should have a sheet in your
One
folder.
second.
Yes.
So on the budget transfers, like a department, you know, is running low in one of their line item budgeted things, and they need, you know, $1,000 moved
They'll
from
take
one.
it from something that's
Yeah.
got an excess.
That's right, and so they have to run that through the court, and Amanda presents it to us, and we'll approve it. No, hey, been there, done that.
Thank
So
you,
the
Thomas.
next thing we're gonna discuss looks like this. It's a budget amendment.
Right there it is.
And so what this is it's monies that we did not anticipate getting in this budget, but we did get them. So to get them in our budget, we have to do a budget amendment through Department of Local Government. So we have ordinance number 02322001, amendment number 2. This is to amend in unbudgeted receipts into the budget for fiscal year 2023 or 22-23. We're going to increase revenue code 014506-1 state reimbursement refund by $1,500. We're going to increase revenue code 044510 state grants by $1,900. We're going to increase general fund revenue code 014733 by insurance reimbursements by $43,454, and the National Opioid Settlement Fund 884760 by $136,665.60, which is going to increase expenditure code 0150154446 Sheriff ASAP grant by $1,500. 015015-723 Sheriff Motor Vehicle by $43,454. 045205-384B Spay and Neuter Grant by $1,900. And $88,900,999 contingent appropriation by $136,665.60. So the $1,500 was an additional amount that we received on the sheriff's ASAP grant, so we had only anticipated $3,000 and we got $1,500 extra, so we're having to put that money in there. The $43,454 is where we had a cruiser that was totaled. The court accepted to take that payment, so now we have to amend that into our budget. We got a spay and neuter grant that we had not anticipated. It's $1,900, so that come into play. And then the 88, which is fund, which is the 136,665.60, is funds that we had not anticipated receiving on that National Opioid Settlement Fund. And we've received the money. Joe is still working on exactly how those funds can be used. But for now, we have them in the account, and we'll figure
That's
out.
why they're called contingent.
Yes, because it's not designated right now for a specific thing.
Okay.
What is the total we have currently?
136,665.60.
Part of basically the limitations have to do with use for somehow addressing the opioid epidemic, and it will ultimately be up to you all as to how we do that. I would like to let a little money collect so we know what we're working with, because they just recently started, and then trying to find something worthwhile that the court feels would be a good way to do that. But in theory, if you were a larger city, you might be able to open up a rehab center or something like that. So we'll be talking about it later on when we have a better idea of what funds are coming in. And it will be a slow process, because I think it stretches out over 20 years, and there are other lawsuits that could start feeding into this, but more to come on that.
And so today, we're going to have the first reading of this budget amendment. We have to send that off for approval, and then we'll have to have a second reading and adoption. But today, all we need is first reading.
Make a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 02-322-001, Amendment 2, as presented.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
So when we do a budget every year, and this court passes it, we have to send it to the Department of Local Government for approval. If we change that budget on the increase, it has to go through this process right here. And when we pass this, Amanda will send that to the Department of Local Government, and they have to approve that.
And they have to always equal.
Part of our budget at that point.
I guess one question is, this opioid fund, is that level of amount, did I hear you say that you're expecting that kind of appropriation to be coming in annually for the next several years?
That's what it would be. We would be hopeful for. There's a schedule on that, but all of this happened in December, so or November or December, so I hadn't really taken a good look at it. But just to give you how quickly they moved, we got the initial notice of it, I think, in June or July of 21. So it's kind of rolled out pretty slowly. So.
Any more discussion? Not roll call?
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Golden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And I have one piece of really good news for you, and that's I do not have any cash transfers today.
That's a good way to start.
Thank you, Amanda.
All right, let's move on to road work request. District 1.
District 1, continue maintenance. Approves to everything, Kaylee. Everything looks good.
District 2.
I turned in a road work request, and I'll get with Kelly about a bus turnaround possibly, but Mr. Bolden and Mr. Davenport told me about the easement and all that with the landowner, so I'll be getting with the school bus garage also.
Okay, great. District 3.
Kelly, I mentioned the one on Williams Road, just need to clean out the culverts from the rain from last Tuesday and look to address removing the gravel in the Forgey's yard, but appreciate all that you do.
Same thing. District 4, continue maintenance. Thanks for all the hard work after the storm and rain cleanup. You had y'all's work cut out for you, but we appreciate it.
I've already been to your office and we've talked about ongoing issues. District 5 has some washing, but I think you're very aware of it. And we have 2 things that are ongoing from the last fiscal court that you said is already on your docket. Thank you.
6.
Continue maintenance, Kelly. Thanks for everything. Appreciate you.
All right, good deal. All right. Elected officials, let's start with,
We got to vote on it.
I'm sorry, I jumped ahead of myself. All right.
Judge, I'm just gonna, I don't know if the new magistrates know, but in your folder, this is the road work that's been done since the last court meeting. I don't know if y'all see
Yeah.
that job work, but
Yeah, I've got a few too.
I also added in a list in all of y'all's folders of the roads that are in the district and the roads that are all in all of the district cities sent those to me.
I'm just so excited about being here. I'm trying to jump us ahead of the list. All right. And we need a motion, a second.
Make a motion to approve the road work request as presented.
second.
All right, any discussion?
Yes.
If no discussion, let's have a roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. And now we can jump to elected officials. Sheriff Stephen Stratton.
Good morning, Court.
Good morning.
First, I want to get the fee report acknowledged.
Motion to approve December 2022, or motion to acknowledge December 2022 Logan County Sheriff's Department fee report.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? No discussion, roll call?
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
All right, I have a personnel action request for a new hire for transport officer. He also has 7 years of experience. I'll pass it down.
So the court has to approve, so the elected officials can hire as they please, you know, but we have to approve any years of experience. So that's why it comes to us. So this person has 7 years of experience. So the court has to approve that 7 years, and they've already got all filled out what they want to make and everything, but I always go look at our salary schedule, and we'll meet sometime, and I'll show you all that stuff. I always just pull it up and just confirm. Just make
That's
sure.
on that personnel.
I'll make sure, and we'll just make sure that the numbers match, and, you know, they always usually do, but we just want to make sure. So 7 years experience equals 16, 23, so, and then once, anybody else want to see it?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yep. Buchanan, I think.
Buchanan.
Okay.
Yeah, he had 5 years experience at our own jail, and then his last 2 were at Muhlenberg County. So
Muhlenberg, right up the road.
yeah, so he's transport officer, deals with all the transports in state and out of state. So with his jail's experience of handling inmates, goes right into that position. So that was the reason for the 7-year request.
Make a motion to approve the personnel action request for John M. Buchanan, with credited 7 years of experience. He will be in, where's the salary schedule? Oh, in salary schedule LC-TS-1.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Not roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Also, I wanted to ask court if I could go ahead and start the bid process on another vehicle to replace the one that was wrecked, since it's over a $30,000 cost. And then that way we can get it approved. And the second motion for that, approving that amendment budget and all that can be at the next court meeting as well.
Any specifics we need to?
It's just a general thing, law enforcement, police type vehicle. I don't think we can advertise, Ford or Dodge or anything. We just, it has to be a very generic, bid.
So is the insurance checks was what's gonna pay for?
Yeah, that money will pay and help supplement some of the equipment. Because we were able to take the equipment out of the one that was wrecked, that saved us probably $10,000 to $12,000, $15,000. So I should be right in line with the budget and everything on that. If not, I've got ways to kind of supplement it, but we're right on track as far as I can tell.
This is the second vehicle, not the one we've already okayed, correct? We have one
It's to
already.
replace the one that y'all amended into budget on the insurance money. We got the insurance money
That
from
was
the
a
first,
wrecked
from the
vehicle,
wrecked
not a
one.
new vehicle. It was amended in the
Right,
budget.
right.
That's what the insurance paid us for the one that got wrecked.
Okay, there hasn't been a second one, and this is all the same one.
Yeah,
Okay.
Lost one and we're just replacing.
just replacing
Yeah.
that one.
Motion to authorize him to advertise. I'll make a motion to authorize the sheriff to advertise bids for a replacement vehicle.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We have any discussion on this? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
That's all I had. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Sheriff. Miss Stacy Watkins, County Clerk.
Good morning.
Good.
Morning.
I got Erin with me because we're talking numbers, and she's good at this bookkeeping stuff, so I brought her with me. So we have our fee report that I need acknowledged. I believe it's in your folders.
Yes, ma'am.
Make a motion to acknowledge Logan County Clerk's fee report for December of 2022.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
What fishing license you get for $1.50 now?
That's our commision. That's
the
what we
commission we
get.
earn off
Oh,
of it.
okay.
Yeah, that's what we make for selling that.
I was like, man, fair, gee,
Y'all keep in
I'm getting
mind, y'all need to be
robbed.
getting those. Don't
Keep
they-
in mind, we only make 50 cents per license.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they give
The
us.
rest of it goes to the state.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
We have to do this because we're a fee pooling county. Clerk's office, fee pooling, and so does the sheriff's office.
Do we have any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
I have one question. What is the over-under?
the over-under is, there was $294 we collected on the vehicle side that should not have been collected, but we didn't catch it until the next day, so we had to refund $294 the next day. And it showed us as a shortage, but we're really not short. And then also, on the 29th of December, there was a miscommunication with the state. They were supposed to shut off the web renewal site. We thought they shut that off the 23rd. However, they did not shut it down until the 29th.
Oh.
So the state paid us for vehicle tags, reimbursement for vehicle tags that we had not actually charged for yet. So that's why it's showing $422.26 over. Now, next month's report, where we actually collected that money in January, or showed the charge in January.
Did the business
it
in
will-
January.
It will show short.
So I'll get a negative on the report
Yes.
next time for about the same amount.
Well, no, the actual amount that the state paid us was $716.29. However, that refund of $294 was taken from that to get the $422.26.
So that other amount will be.
Yes.
Okay.
So what we did, we had a customer that had come in and titled a historic vehicle, and one of our new deputies was unaware that that vehicle is exempt from paying usage tax, and she had charged 6% usage tax. Had we done that refund that same day before we closed out, it would have all been, it would have come out.
It would not have shown
You wouldn't have even
short.
seen it. But because he came in the following day, it was whole different day of business, and so it came up. It didn't come out in the wash. It wasn't like we cut him, it didn't.
You were able to refund the customer.
Yes, we had
but
to
it
give
didn't
him
come out
back.
on your books.
Right. Mhm. So we had to manually adjust the books of the reports at the office, basically.
So that's your transparency here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, if you purchase a vehicle and you want to put a historic plate on it, don't pay taxes. Make sure you question that when you come in our office. You are not required to pay the 6% usage tax.
What is your historic vehicle cutoff?
25 years old.
25? Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
There we go.
Follow-up question.
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Okay, and then, the only other thing, we have our estimated budget, but is that on the, I believe that's on the agenda on further down. So we'll just come back later. Unless y'all want to go ahead and knock that out now. No, we'll come back. See you in a minute.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our jailer, Mr. Toomey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Believe it or not, I've had that. But I'll probably get some more. Yes.
It is if he doesn't pull it all out first.
Yes. I have got some new personnel action requests to go over. A previous employee, Mr. Joins, that has 4 years' experience that to bring back as a deputy, and I'll pass that around.
Okay, make a motion to approve the personnel action request of Justin W. Joins with 4 years credit experience, being the base schedule of LC-DC-1. And this needs to be retroactive to January the 3rd when he started, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've got several vacancies we're trying to fill. Our floor staff's pretty short, and we've got one gentleman that's been in the hospital that's in another county that's been housed initially in Owensboro, and now he's in Marshall County, but he's been there since Christmas, and we're having to work 12-hour shifts. We got 3 on the floor, 1 in control was all we had, and then 1 working the hospital watching a gentleman. So we're trying to get those numbers back up, and then if one person's sick or has an emergency, we're really short, so we're trying to get quality people
I'll
hired.
second
So
that then.
thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport?
Yes.
Goodwin?
Yes.
Wilco?
Yes.
Harper?
Yes.
Crawford?
Yes.
Bolden?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Do you have several personnel action requests or just?
I've got, yes, sir, I've got more.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
He wants to
Do we need to do them all individually?
We have to do them all
We can
individually.
look at them all at the same time, wouldn't
We can look at them all at the same
And I-
time.
Yes, sir. Another gentleman that was a previous employee, Cody Buchanan, he also has first 4 years of experience as well.
He's the one we okayed a while ago, right?
No, that was
Same
John.
as John.
Just
Same
same
last
name,
name.
Ah,
They're brothers, I think.
oh, okay. That's fine. Okay, good.
They work hand in hand. They
Okay.
good
I
group.
think we just okayed a few.
Make a motion to approve the personal action request for Cody W. Buchanan. And he'll be in base schedule LC-DC-1 with 4 years credit experience. This needs to be retroactive to January the 3rd, 2023.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. We have any discussion?
You need to see this.
If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes,
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
All right, the next personnel action request is going to be on Michael Trimmer. He was a previous captain at the detention center. He was transport and court security at the sheriff's department, and he is been promoted to chief deputy. He has been given credit for 7 years of experience.
he's checking every time to see the credit.
How many employees do you have?
He's looking at the pay scale.
Right now, as far as floor
Checking
deputies.
that what's on that paper as far as the
One second.
job description and the categories would be like Logan County Jail or Detention Center. So LCDC -1 with a stipend of LCDC
One at 6.
We've got
One at
18
six.
as of
And
at the
all
moment,
that's on
but we've
the
hired
spreadsheet.
I'm
a
looking at
couple
them as I have
that's
it,
already
yeah,
started.
like I
But
said,
we've
So that
got
we don't
a
vote on
mixture
something that's
of,
not
yes.
We've had, we want to make sure everything's accurate. Most time, most time.
That's a really good
Mr.
thing.
Jones,
Most of the
Mr.
time
Buchanan, and
that
Trimmer,
the-
Mr. Trimmer are, we've
department
got,
heads,
I've got one that just started,
already started with human resources.
one that was already employed that's been appointed to another position that I'll go over, and then one that's
That's
looking
right,
to start
that's right.
the
We wanna
end
make
of the
sure
week.
people get paid when they need to get paid.
So-
So,
You've got
and then some of our
What's
departments,
the
for
ideal
instance,
number that
you know, have lots of.
Well, at one
different
time, there
jobs.
was around 30.
Base schedule, they
However,
have a stipend
however,
system,
with
so-
the shifts, working
so
12
you may,
hours and things,
you know,
with
everybody's
one in the
starting at the
control,
base schedule,
so many on the
have
floor,
to use
one working the hospital detail, and then transports and others on Class D side, watching them, that they operate
what you're
the
doing
kitchen,
every time.
they operate the
Checking that
laundry,
number.
and any maintenance or the building cleanup on that side. But that's all the state inmates we have as far as numbers right now, just to operate the facility. We don't have enough to go out on work crews, these cities, these mayors and things, road department, county road barn, they're needing help too, and we're trying to get our numbers back up, but that's something I'll talk about later with some building issues, so.
Make a
Wow.
motion to approve the personal action request for Michael J. Trimmer. Michael Trimmer will be, with credit 7 years experience. And for chief deputy, which is stipend schedule LC-DC-1S1. And this needs to be retroactive to January the 2nd, 2023.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. We have any discussion? No discussion. Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Yes, next personnel action is for Michael T. Burchett. He will be appointed to a captain and look for him for training. He's got 15 years of experience, and he will take over the training section.
Where did he come from?
He was not prior. He's been teaching and certified in various areas of that we need over there, firearms, OC, taser, but he's been teaching for greater than 15, but that's
So
the
his
max.
Experience is teaching
Yes, yes,
for 15 years.
yes, ma'am.
So our current personnel policy states that, you know, if you're coming in and you haven't gotten your years of experience with us, then our max credited years of experience is 15.
Okay.
So that's why
That's
it's
the
maxed out
15.
at 15.
There's the
Yes.
15.
That's only coming in
As new.
new.
I got you.
A current
The
employee,
15, yeah,
you
can
know.
go beyond that, but it's the
Correct,
new
exactly.
hire.
It's a new hire,
Okay,
that's right.
okay. He's coming in as a captain.
Yes, ma'am, to take over training.
Captain of, yeah,
Training, I guess.
not the RC captain, but
No. Technically, a position for training actually doesn't exist. However,
Okay.
that's what I'm working on, job descriptions, and that's something I look to come next budget cycle. There's several positions that we need that we don't have, such as maintenance personnel. But those positions, I look to try to create that job description and get the court's approval. However, that's his primary goal or function at the moment. However, he can fill in various other areas as we need. But we're trying to get training up to date, the appropriate number of hours, get everybody certified in everything, recertified in everything, so.
when you get that all figured out, we might want to meet as the
Of course.
personnel committee and
Of
figure
course.
out the different jobs we need to add to the salary schedule. If that's,
Yes, sir.
You know, if that's, that we can present, you know, the court has to approve that.
Of course.
But we need to probably meet about that, because that's, you know, depending on all that you're wanting to do, so. I don't like, you know, making up stuff, and I know you have to do what you gotta do right now. I don't like making up a title and giving them somebody another job description, but I understand, we'll work through it. We'll just have to make sure the new salary schedule for that job will still be in line with this captain pay scale, so can do that for now. Make a motion to approve the personnel action request for Michael T. Burchett, who'll be in stipend schedule LC-DC-1 with 15 years credit experience. That effective date is that just today? No, the 9th, January the 9th, which was yesterday.
So you just did?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
bring
ma'am.
it in. Okay. Did you want to see that, Jason? Chris, did you want to see that?
No, I looked at it first.
Oh, okay.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
So there are, you know, each department has a number of slots for jobs.
Yes, sir.
You know, so as far as in your budget, you have X amount of deputies that you can hire, and you have X amount of, you know, and I think you have plenty of vacancies too. But like this, say for instance, this job, are you going to be taking away one of the spots for a deputy to make this, give this person, or are you going to be adding more additional to your budget?
We've got at least six other vacancies as far as deputies plus part-time staff as well.
Yeah.
For people that, which it's a job that you can't really explain for somebody who wants to come in and train before we start providing benefits and things. They need to come in, work some shifts to find out if that's going to be a career path they choose to stick with, because sometimes that they don't always stay. So that's why those part-time positions exist, to come in, train, work, see if it's going to be something they want to stay.
So I mean, I'm not sure on the number of total deputy jailers you have in your budget, but we just have to, budget wise, we have to remember that is, if you say you had 15, 20, I don't know how many you've got, slots for deputy jailers, just people on the floor, is that an excessive amount that you don't think you need that many? You can change one of those jobs to a trainer and change one of those jobs to a maintenance person or whatever. That's something we could talk about
Yes, sir.
when we meet. And
yes, sir.
And Amanda, probably too on those job position numbers, so.
Yes, sir.
Just want to keep that in mind.
One last question.
Yes, ma'am.
How many of your deputies come in as a part-time? And
We've got various, before that was, seemed to be pretty consistent for somebody that was interested, but not certified in anything, not trained in anything, to shadow and work and kind of on-the-job training with the floor staff. And then, if they wanted to stick with it, if we had an opening, they were appointed up to full-time, and of course then they would be eligible for benefits and insurance and those things, but it's like I said, it's not a job that you can exactly explain. They have to kind of come in and be there and do that, because it's
jobs really should have that.
Yes, ma'am.
Where you learn it before you
Yes,
claim you're
ma'am.
going to do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you say most of them are part-time,
Well, we've got-
unless they've got the experience.
We've got about 7 part-time. A couple of them have retired and they work part-time or have other full-time jobs, but enjoy and they assist. And we've got, like I said, a couple retired, and one's a school teacher and a coach, and he works part-time too, but they fill in and they can help out when they're available. Yes, yes.
Okay.
But sometimes, depending on what that is, they're not always available.
So they remain part-time?
Yes, ma'am.
I got you. Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion? Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodman,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
All right. Next personnel action request is Tasha Meredith. She worked our front office. However, we had a vacancy as a Class D coordinator. We had an individual we were training. However, sometimes they find out it may be not something they're as interested in once they get to training and work in a position. So that become open, and that was a very very important spot and role in our facility. And she's currently training with Simpson County to learn those roles and catching on really quick. But appoint her as Class D coordinator with no experience prior.
Who will come in to replace her in your front office?
We've got another young lady that will take over.
Is that coming up here?
No, it's because of the pay.
She is coming in with 0 years of experience, so he can just hire that position since he's not actually giving years of experience, so he doesn't have
Yes.
to bring that one forward.
But you've got someone scheduled to replace her once you move?
Yes, she's already started. So
Okay, great.
we've been trying to stay on top of that since last week.
We're not
So
trading the years of experience, so do we need to do any action on this?
It's a promotion, and that's
Okay.
really the only reason why
Okay.
she's doing it up in May.
Make a motion to approve personal action request for Tasha R. Meredith. Going from base schedule LC-DO-1 to stipend LC-DO-1S1 with 0 years experience.
I second that. Did you want to do this one?
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodman,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said
Crawford,
Crawford somehow.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
my last one is Thomas Sheets. He retired from Simpson County's detention center. He decided he didn't want to stay retired. He wanted to come back, and we had a full-time slot open, and he's going to bring a lot of years of experience to help out. But we're giving him credit for the max, of course, of 15 years of experience.
Because he's a new hire.
Yes, and because his experience was elsewhere, that's the most he can get.
Right. How many years did you say, 15 in Simpson, or how many years is he at Simpson?
No, he retired from Simpson. He had 16 plus in Simpson County as a deputy jailer there, and so.
So when you said maximum 15, that
That's
doesn't
all
count
the
his
county,
time at Simpson?
yes, that's all the county allows. Even if you were retired with 20 plus, that's all the experience they'll allow to
As a
transfer
new-
over.
right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Oh, you're filling some slots.
We're trying to. Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Make a
Good.
motion to approve personal action request for Thomas M. Sheets. To be in base schedule LC-DC-1 with 15 years credit experience. Hire date will be January 13th of 2023. So we don't.
I'll second it.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilkett,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And just an update, of course, I appreciate all that were available, and I understand everybody's got their jobs too, that were able to make it last week for the tour when the inspectors were present. It was very eye-opening and educating to me as well. I've had several various maintenance companies come in that specialize in HVAC work and plumbing last week. However, at this point, that's turned in some kind of quote or potential bid or a partial bid just on what observations they've made. Everybody's kind of stuck with the HVAC work. That seems to be, I guess, because that's the most expensive part of it. So that's the majority of the bids I've got. However, I've only had one, but I am actively trying to seek more. But one company that specializes in detention facilities and things, but they do other commercial work for plumbing. But of course, the Class D side is the biggest loss as far as because of plumbing issues, showers issues, water damage and things. On that side, we're 2 30-man cells short of people, so 60 short. That's quite a bit of money we're losing out every day. So I'm actively working on that. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. But at this point, I've only had one quote for that.
For the plumbing.
For the plumbing on that side. We've got plumbing issues on the secure side too, but that's a big loss for the county. I mean, we're talking, it's quite a bit. I mean, it's over $2,000 a month we're losing. You know, that's $63,000 a year, over $700,000. In a month, $63,000 a month, and over $700,000 that we're losing a year by not having those sales filled with state inmates. So that's my main focus right now. I just wanted to bring that to your attention that I'm working on it.
And it's in our budget to have that.
Yes.
So our budget says that we're going to have all that money coming in, and we're not.
Yes.
Right.
As soon as we can get that fixed, but I'm working so far the money. I'm trying to get a couple more bids, and then I'll present that and we'll go forward. But I just want to let you know it is in the works. But right now, that seems to be what everybody wants to put a bid in for is the HVAC, because that's so much more expensive than the plumbing. So, but yes, but I do thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I know
sir.
you're working hard.
Yes, ma'am. And I've got messages from others that weren't able to make it, and we'll make arrangements. Yes, ma'am. And Mr. Wilcutt, and y'all are more than welcome anytime. You just let me know. We'll be happy to have you.
Convenient for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
If you find a slot for him, we'll come at the same time.
Of course.
We'll line it up.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
No point in him doing that twice, Chris.
Ben, did you have anything besides the 2 new items we have now?
Just I can tell them how many calls we've been on in the last week. We've been on 5 calls. Had one call for a 40-year-old death certificate, which was interesting. Amanda gave me a nice tour of the attic. And so once we get a new facility, we desperately need to get all that stuff moved out and organized, because Amanda can attest there's just records up there laying loose,
Right.
not in files, that anybody could go through and look at. So
Upstairs here.
yeah, about right there.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ben.
Yep.
All right, let's move to our department heads, please. 911, Ginger.
Good morning, how are y'all?
Morning.
For those of y'all that don't know me, I'm Ginger Lawrence. I'm the director at the 911 Center. I know a lot of y'all, but I'm not really sure that this one needs to be brought before the court, but I was just going to bring it anyway. I have a personnel action report. I am moving a part-time person to full-time, no change in pay. She's not changing in pay because she already got her experience as a part-time person. She's got 3 years experience.
She's actually a previous full-time employee for the county who's been part-time and is now coming back.
Yeah, just to be safe, we'll go ahead and
But no change in pay.
No, because she was already getting her years of experience as a part-time person.
Oh,
I know that's on here.
that was why. Okay.
What was her name?
Kayla Hughes. She started with me in 2018, and we certified her, and then she goes to school, but she's going to come here and work full-time hours on the weekends. So she's going to work all weekend long, but that's what she wants to do. And well, not all weekend. You know, she's going to work 30 hours, which is considered full-time.
That's huge for somebody to volunteer for weekends.
Yes, it is, because you know it's hard to keep people down there
for
with
weekends,
us.
especially.
A lot of people don't understand we're not a Monday through Friday 8 to 4 job. Not even me.
Well, wonderful that you've got somebody that wants
Oh
to
yeah,
do
and she's young too. She's only like 23. For somebody to be that young to do it.
It is good.
And I got all those numbers from, that's what she's automatically making, or what she's already making.
But I mean, what does she have as far as her?
She was hired in 2018.
I forgot. We updated y'all's. We updated.
Yeah.
The pay. I was looking at the old one.
You were like, dang.
Wait a minute now. Because I mean, I don't have anything to.
That's the one that I got that number from Janice. That's what she's already making.
2 years sound right?
No, she was 3 years.
It's not lining up as far as.
Is it not? Okay, that's what she's making now. She was hired in 2018 and was certified then. She took a break.
As long as it's up.
I mean,
going down.
That's the right number for 2 years experience.
Okay.
It's not the right number for 3.
Okay, yeah, she's got 3 now because she's,
Well, she stays though at.
She stays at 2 years. When you're
Stays at
part-time,
2
you don't
years
get
when
years
she's
experience because
part-time.
you're less.
okay, so she does go up in pay then, because she's gonna get 3 years experience.
Not till July.
Not till July 1.
July 1 she'll
Okay,
get her-
okay.
She should be at 2 right now.
Right now, so what we got is right. Okay.
Make a motion to approve personal action request for Kayla Hughes. She will be in stipend schedule at LC-EC-1S1 with 2 years credit experience.
And I want that to start yesterday on the
Okay.
9th.
Make that retroactive to January the 9th, 2023.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, please.
Haverford,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcox,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Golden,
That goes there.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Okay, thank y'all so much. And a little update on my 3 new hires that I have. There's no openings on the academy. The first one's to March. So it'll be March before I can get anybody certified. So we are starting the hiring process again, but we wanted to get these moving a little bit forward because we didn't have enough certified to help with training. So we are working on that. We just accepted more applications, fixing to start doing the interview process again to get some more people in there. We had a little bit of problem with the cows when we had the last storm. The one in Auburn did not work. So between Derek, and we went down there and tested it and tried to get it fixed. Derek has got a temporary fix on it, which he is working with the city of Auburn, and they're wanting a quote on to get what's fixed wrong with it. With that being said, there's no type of maintenance agreement on the cows, so we need to get something in order as far as the maintenance and who's responsible for those warnings, sirens, you know, who's responsible for the maintenance and everything on them. It has to be a certified electrician. I know Emergency Management has reached out to get some quotes to see what we can find.
Whose inventory is it on? Our inventory or the city of Auburn's inventory?
As far as,
Do we own it or does the city of Auburn own it?
what it was done is, I think they were purchased with a grant because this was like in 2003. So, I mean, you know, this was before.
Somebody got the grant.
Somebody got the grant, and who purchased them. Now, I do know that the city of Russellville, they have theirs and they maintain it. The city of Adairville maintains theirs. So I would say the city of Auburn probably maintains it. We had issues, we couldn't even get in it. Emergency Management. So I'd like to get something set up to get them, we test them once a year anyway, but I'd like to get it set up where we start doing it twice a year. That way we don't, because, you know, a lot can change in a year. And I would like to have something where I have somebody, kind of like I do with my generators, have somebody going and looking at them and make sure that they're okay. Because we got to the one at Auburn and couldn't even get in, because it's on the water tower and it's in a, you know, it's in a locked gate. And we called the emergency number, tried to get someone. It was the next day, and then the mayor come down and met with Derek and let him in to work on it. But, and it was, you know, we need to make sure that the batteries are updated on them, you know, things like that, because a lot can change and they need to be completely working at all times. I can't tell you I know the Adairville one worked because I heard it loud and clear. You know, it's just right down from my house, but.
They did. They came in with a concern about the maintenance
Yes.
program, and I think that they are working on getting bids for to cover this maintenance program at this moment. So I will check with them and get that updated and update you all on that.
Yeah, but I think that's something I just wanted to let y'all know my concerns about it, because,
Just
you know,
like,
that's.
I think anything else, someone has to take ownership. So
Right.
if we own it, then we need to own the maintenance. But if the city of Auburn owns it, they need to own the maintenance. So
Well, I know Derek is getting quotes for the mayor in Auburn to fix it.
Lewisburg,
We got Lewisburg,
Auburn, Adairville,
and there's one in Olmsted, and they are, I know that a local electrician is working on the one there at, around Dot area. They were trying to get one in that area. They were looking into getting one in that area, especially after we had the tornadoes there last year. For some reason, it seems to always want to hit that area.
Well, I can call my queues too and ask if they have the original grant for it.
Because I have no, of course, you know, that was before me, so I don't.
Okay. Well,
Actually, I think they were purchased probably before the 911 center was put in effect here. So, I mean, they've been
so
there
it
for a long
wasn't
time.
working at all?
It did not work at all. It did not go off
It
at
didn't
all.
go off. I can hear it at my house when it does go off, if I'm on the left side of the house. But
So the person that does your service on your generator, is that sort of suited to do that same service?
No, it has to be an electrician. My generators is through Evapar. They come twice a year. But I did the only thing I knew to do, and me and the radio tech went to see if we could do anything. We was out like 3 hours the next night working on it, but.
Derek,
You were out there.
is that something you can maintain, Derek?
No, because you do have to be an electrician, and like, what power if it comes right off the power pole, and, but, it was an antenna and coax issue, why it didn't go off.
It was what?
Antenna and coax
Antenna.
going, yeah. There's actually tree limbs grown into the site there, where the lights out there.
I will get with Terry Cole, and I think that's a beginning point to find out about where each one is and who is responsible for it. I'll work with him and have you try to get you guys an answer.
Yeah, I would say.
Well, I know Terry came to me. We
First
kind of
thing,
tried to
find out
pull up and
ownership.
find
Exactly.
anything, and we couldn't on it. Because, you know, I work with Terry quite a bit.
And you said it was 2003?
2003, I believe.
I found paperwork in the, when I went up there, I found paperwork in there that was installed in 2000.
2000.
2000, it was 23 years old.
23 years old, okay.
So,
And it looked like the squirrels had chewed up the coax cable.
The one at Auburn is at the water tower.
Yeah.
So
you
it's,
said- I heard you say that it's incorporated in there.
yes.
You almost need a bucket truck to get up there, I mean, run way around the poles.
No, I didn't want to climb up that water tower. That's not my job description. But any more questions
No,
for
thank
me?
you for that.
And any of y'all, if y'all want to come down and see the 911 center, we're there all the time. Come on down. It was nice to meet all
In
y'all.
case the new court members don't know, Derek Wilson, we put out for bid every year now. We have for the past 2 years, I think. We put out for bid every year for maintenance, for maintaining and monitoring our radio system. The 911, all of the communications that have to do with our radios. So we put that out for bid, and Derek has been awarded the bid the past 2 years. So he's with Wilson Communications, and he's also actively working on, our redesign. We've been talking a lot about adding a tower, moving Lewisburg Tower, moving Auburn Tower possibly, and adding one in Adairville. So that's something that he's been actively working on, and that I didn't know if Derek had. That's who's been.
He's our tower man.
That's who's been talking over there. If y'all didn't know.
Well, good to know.
But anytime y'all want to take a tour of the tower sites or anything, we'll be more glad to show you.
I probably need to look at Auburn, but I'm not guaranteeing I'll get up in it. I'll look.
You gotta climb to the top.
Yeah, that's
You said you
initiation.
need a forklift or something up there,
That's part
electrical
of the tour.
bucket.
They actually climb the tower.
Okay.
Our site in Auburn right now is at Logan Telephone.
Oh, at Logan.
It's at the one on French
They
Brook.
have a tower site. They used to own Bluegrass Cellular,
Right.
and they still own the tower site. And now Verizon cellular equipment's in there, but they still own.
I still
that.
call it Logan Tele. So.
It's not at actual Logan
I don't
telephone
do
building.
change
It's like
very
off. It's
Just slightly off.
It's called getting
off.
old, isn't it?
Pretty good.
Oh, it's not at the location now. It's a different location.
Different location.
Okay.
But anytime. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nathan, solid waste.
Good morning, it's good to be with you today, and before I get into what I say, we have some gentlemen here with Scott Waste Services, and they have been invited in just to explain everything going on, just to meet you all, and just to talk a little bit about the trash situation that's happened recently. So I appreciate you gentlemen coming.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Nathan. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Trey Holman with Scott Waste. This is Taylor Hagan. We're both operations supervisors with Scott Waste. Sam Upperman, our site manager, had an emergency come up this morning, so he was unable to be here with us today, but he does look forward to meeting you all in the future if he hasn't met you already. So Scott Waste 2023, we're kind of coming up with a campaign and a slogan, the new Scott Waste. So Sam came in this past summer and took over as site manager and in our operations, and we've had a lot of probably issues we know that were occurring over the last year or two operationally, as far as being on time and doing what we say doing what we say we're going to do. Right, so the last 6 months or so, we've really tried to put an emphasis on being timely, taking care of our customers in any way, shape, form, or fashion, and really driving that home through how we're working with our drivers and how we're handling issues with our customers. So we've seen a lot of progress there. The last few weeks, we know that we had a few hiccups. Unfortunately, with the holidays, Mother Nature wanted to creep on in there right before Christmas and after Christmas, kind of created a few issues, I know specifically in Logan County, following Recycle Week. So we had some folks that had 2 to 3 weeks worth of garbage at their house at that time. So what we did to handle that, we put an extra truck or two on the road. We also advised our regular residential drivers that if anyone has extra at their house, we were to be collecting that. We worked tirelessly and diligently New Year's Eve, New Year's Day to get caught up on that front. So at this point in time, we should be caught up with everything in Logan County. If there are any issues, we've been urging everyone, including Logan County and surrounding counties, to please reach out and call our office directly. If there is any sort of issue at all, residential, commercial, the quicker we know about that, the quicker we can respond, right? Oftentimes we have trucks in the area daily, so if we get a message in the office that there's been a missed pickup, if we need an extra pickup, anything of that nature, a lot of times we can react very quickly and get any sort of issue taken care of.
So one of the reasons why I requested for y'all to be here today was for that reason, to kind of explain what went on during the Christmas break, and I understand Mother Nature. But, you mentioned calling the office, so that was, people called the office and they got a recording, and they never got a call back. So that's something that I wanted to bring up. But also, I guess what I want to understand a little bit is that, so I'm not in the trash pickup business, so I don't know how y'all's operations work. But if your drivers are on a route and they go down a road and they pick up all their trash, do they have a street check off list where they say, okay, we got that street, but there's a street off that street that they missed? Is there not some kind of ongoing, checklist to where, we got this street, okay, well, we go to this street, and I don't know, GPS mapping, and, I don't know, because we had lots of lots of streets that were missed, and, they couldn't get Scott Waste to answer, and so, they called me. So,
right.
And which is fine. I mean, I answer my phone, and I know I return my calls. But, so my question is that, and then if, say for 3 weeks, somebody didn't get their trash picked up, okay? But they're still paying that every quarter, that amount of money. Mm-hmm. And then in order for them to get some money back, they have to call, and they have to wait, and they have to say, okay, well, I didn't get the pickup, and then, well, maybe they can get their bill. But I mean, is there a way not to, if they miss 3 weeks of pickup, is there not a way for y'all to know that you didn't pick somebody's trash up for 3 weeks and give them a credit on their bill? And also, I would say, is part of the, I know you have issues with employment, like everybody else, and I understand that, you're having a hard time. And like you said, the past 6 months, I have noticed that it has improved. I get, for several months, I think it's been better. But I think prior to that, y'all know the issues that you have, but I think there has been improvement. But I think, when the hiccups happen, is it because you think we got that recycling in there, that also if we miss, the recycling week, and then we have 3 weeks of trash if we miss 2 weeks because recycling was before that? Is that, you think recycling is something that y'all have gotten to a point that you can't handle? As far as in addition to trash pickup, that was just a few of the questions I had, and Thomas might want to hit on the recycling part too a little bit. I don't know, but
I mean, you've overwhelmed him. I'm gonna let him answer.
All great questions. So I'll try and answer those. So as far as the routing goes, to your first question. So each driver is equipped with a tablet on their routes. So they have the option to select whether they serviced a particular stop or if they did not service a particular stop. When they choose that option, it brings up a list of reasons: cans not out, gates locked, XYZ, what have you. And that's sent directly to our database in the office and can be seen within about 15 minutes or so. So if there are stops we can't service, that's logged at a certain time on a date, and we can look and see that. I know on the Tuesday, would have been the 27th, we ran on a delayed service after the snow on Monday. There were several roads that we still could not get down. I know we discussed that. One thing we've looked back on that is, in the future, we're going to better identify those roads once those drivers make us aware of those, what we can get down and what we cannot get down, and relay that information back to you all, back to the customer, and say, hey, we're sorry we couldn't get you today. Here's our plan going forward. that way everybody's on the same page.
I think communication is pretty important.
Correct.
I think, you know, like, they look outside, is my trash been picked up, they come home, they ain't coming again today. You know, if they had some sort of communication, you know, to know, like I know at the school system, when we want to put out a message to everybody, you know, we've got everybody's cell phone number or their email, and we can mass push out a message saying, hey, this bus is late today.
Right.
Or, you know, maybe y'all could look into something like that. I'm not telling you how to run your business, but y'all could look into something like, you know, hey, we're going to be a day late on, you know, in these areas. Push it out to them and let them know.
Or you can't
Right.
pick that road up because of
Yeah.
conditions. Because,
Right.
you know, you get people call us sometimes, and I'm typically an advocate for y'all 90% of the time, and somebody will call and say, well, I didn't get my trash picked up. And I'm like, well, there's 3 inches of snow, you know, and most people are home today, and they're not going to put a, you know, 10-ton truck on the road that has no traction to come pick up your trash, but they'll get you next week, you know. And I mean, I hate to say that sometimes, but sometimes people get ticked off, and, you know, I don't know what else to tell them. You know, you got to be reasonable and safe, and I don't expect a driver to be going down a road that's got ice all over it. But if you can communicate that, and, you know, I agree with Tyler, you know, typically you would have everybody's information, you know, cell phone. There's going to be a few that don't, you know, and they're going to call their judge and their magistrates, and that's what we're here for, absolutely. So, I mean, I had an issue. I called Doug Hicks, which FYI, don't let him retire again, you know. So he's the greatest employee y'all got, in my opinion. And second, don't let, you know, I got Robert Lyons, and don't let him leave.
He's a great one,
route,
for sure.
You know, so you can't.
And the
let
guy
him-
on my route's good too.
You
Don't let him
can't
leave.
let him go to District 5 or District 3, you know. That he's got
Right.
he's got to stay here.
For sure.
Now, he does a fantastic job. But, you know, I guess my questions that I'd like to bring before you to work on is, so, you know, I'm a huge advocate of recycling. Everybody knows that. So I've been concerned with since your facility's burned, what you've been doing with it. I think those questions have been answered through Sam yesterday and the judge. Hopefully those are going to Louisville and they are being recycled. I think there was maybe a little period that they weren't, you know, but anyhow, we're not going to live in the past, we move forward. And then the other thing is, you know, when is that facility going to be back open? Because that has an impact on a lot of Logan Countyans who are especially in the construction trades.
Right.
You know, they're used to, you know, going, you know, 10 miles down the road to the transfer station and dumping their trailers, dumping their, you know, whatever they, wagons, whatever they're doing, and bringing it to y'all and dumping it. And now they don't have that ability. And so they have to go, and they don't even know unless they call, but they can go to Bowling Green to another site, or they can go to Clarksville to another site. But, you know, that has a big impact, and that facility burned some time ago, and I see nothing happening. You know, every time I drive by, there's still a burnt up, crinkled up building. Doesn't seem like, to me, that that's a priority to get fixed.
Right, so 2 questions there, great questions. So at Apex, we have a separate pit on the west side of the building where we dump all our recycle. And you're correct, that is loaded up into walk-in trailers, walk-in floors. That's hauled to West Rock in Louisville as we fill those trailers. To answer your second question, we, like residents of Logan County, are anxiously anticipating a new building. Right now, Sam actually hit on that yesterday. It's slated to start in February or March. That's what we're looking at right now. It's the latest I've been told. And we totally understand the inconvenience, right? Because right now we're barely at enough capacity to handle our own trucks, garbage and solid waste. We're having to divert some of our own up to other sites in Bowling Green as well. So I'm sure that's definitely something we're wanting to do as quickly as possible.
And then for Tyler, to go back on yours about the letting the people know, we have an app that we have. It's called Waste Connect. It's all lowercase, so it's all one word. Waste Connect is the app. So you download that app, and then you can find Scott Waste on that. And then by that, we're kind of going for that to communicate out on to hey, we're running behind, a couple hours behind. This road's shut down due to weather conditions, a tree fell over, the snow and all that stuff. We're able to push that out. And, we do all calls as well. So we'll highlight a region and then we'll send out like a mass, either be an email, like a text or a phone call stating the reason why. We do have a lot of residents that don't, answer the phone. They don't, check their emails all the time. They don't check their text message. So we're trying to push forward with that, the Waste Connect app.
What was your app?
Waste Connect.
I didn't even
Yes.
know they had it. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, like the app thing, I can pull up the app, but, a lot of the customers are gonna be like, an app? I don't have any apps,
Right.
So,
But if they have all call.
But they have
we can
all call,
put
that's,
it-
I didn't even know
we
you
need-
had that.
We need to let the community know that y'all have that, and maybe if y'all could send the judge something, the process, step
For-
by step to opt
For sure.
into it. And then we can start advertising that through the, the radio, the newspaper, and websites, and let people know, hey, here's how you get connected to get that. I'm assuming you have to opt into it. Your all-call, it's not just automatic.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, give us that information, we'll get it out, and that might take care of a whole lot of those phone
Confusion,
calls that
yeah.
we get about.
Or
when
just the
you-
confusion about when their trash is gonna be picked up.
Right, absolutely. And we definitely all want to be on the same page with good communication. So anything we can do to help on that front, we're more than willing to do so.
I have 3 questions.
Okay.
Auburn's in my district, and I have some of the customers that live around your facility say there are things dumped there that aren't supposed to be dumped there. I don't know whether it's construction or what. And they say, what do they do with that? The things that, like concrete with steel in it. I don't know what you do about that when someone dumps something that's not supposed to be dumped at your transfer station.
So we actually share that facility with TPM Environmental.
Right.
Right. They have a very large mound of construction and demolition
Right.
debris before you enter our side, which
Right,
is
it's
just
on the
strictly
left.
solid waste.
Right.
Correct. So they deal with solidifying sludge, things of that nature with C&D material that kind of you're describing there, which is of no affiliation of
So
ours.
that's all supposed to be on the left, not the right.
Correct.
All right, the next thing is, when your transfer station was put there several years ago, I have a customer who owns a very good business just down. And she says, we were told they would put like wind block trees along the road that feeds into your station. She goes, they were never put in, and it would be such a nice thing for the Auburn community, and specifically her business, which gets a lot of out-of-state business. She said, is there any plan for any beautification, or at least something that will be, they've got long, tall poplars that are quick growing, and she said, is there any possibility those could be put there at very little expense, maybe, along that long area where your fence is? That would make her very happy.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's something we can definitely look into. When we got into that facility, that was before our time. And Sam, so we would have to dig in about that piece, but it's something we could definitely look
Just
into. I
something
mean, yeah.
to show Auburn, we appreciate having this here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would go a long way, especially people with own businesses. They say when people drive in, and like the new pet company, pet food company, that just makes them feel good if they see a beautification effort up there. That, of course, Thomas already touched on, where the fire has now been had too. And I don't know whether you could build concrete a little higher, because then the concrete would withstand the fire. But I don't know what, your codes are, so I can't pretend to speak your necessaries. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. I don't know what your budget is. It could go for beautification, but I know a business owner did ask me about it.
For sure. We can definitely look into that.
Y'all own that or still rent?
Believe we rent that.
Yes, we still rent it.
Yeah.
I don't think they own that.
So,
No,
I mean,
Well, they
it's
were
something we
promised
can look
things
into.
when
I
it
mean,
was
I'm all for it
And I
myself,
know
but.
the rental probably, as Thomas pointed out, it's not going to be the same as if you owned it, but you know, whatever keeps people happier sometimes really is a good thing, so.
For sure, and we definitely work hard to police those grounds for litter and do the best we can to make it look presentable,
Right.
even though we're working with solid waste, right? So,
Well, I
great
appreciate
idea
that.
though, great idea.
The poplar trees grow fast.
Sure.
The only other thing so customers that did not receive pickup for a few weeks, can they get a credit on their bill? Is that not how that works, or?
It could be a possibility. The way we've handled that, like we said, we had the weather after recycle week, which pushed that out to 2 to 3 weeks for some customers. So we went ahead and collected everything, had our drivers, you know, work numerous hours at collecting that. If there is ever a time potentially where we're having a service issue, weather is not a factor, that's something we can look at, for sure. But again, if there are any issues, we strongly urge to call our office. You can send a message on our website, the Waste Connect app that Taylor mentioned. You can also send a message through that about service issues, billing. You can set up for reminders, alerts, all of that stuff. So we'll be more than happy to get that to the judge and you all and get it to the people.
I know we've asked the previous guy about that before, I'm drawing a blank, Pete. And I guess the argument that he gave, it seemed to be a decent reply, at least for me. It seemed to satisfy me when they asked for a rebate for customers, like if they missed a pickup, you know, whether it was due to weather, mechanical, or labor shortage, whatever, doesn't matter. They missed, you know. Pete took that up the food chain and came back, and the reply was, and again, it satisfied me, I didn't push it any further, that A, they still picked up the same amount of trash, and 2, they put in an extra delivery. So if you were to be picked up on Tuesday and weather delayed them and they weren't allowed to, they ran extra routes at some point to get caught up. Now, it may have not been your regular pickup day, and they picked up all the garbage. So if you had 100 pounds to pick up on Tuesday and they didn't run until next Friday because of whatever reason, they picked up 200 pounds. You know, does that make sense?
Still picking up the same amount of trash and just picking it up all at once.
Right. You know, I guess, you know, the only argument would be, well, if you totally skipped a week and you didn't ever make that up, then you technically didn't run a route one week, and that would have been savings on the company as far as the actual physically running the route, but they still picked up the same amount of garbage. But
Well, I think the biggest issue with missing weeks is that, you know, you go to a subdivision and, you know, everybody's got their trash pulled out and it's lids flipped open and they got bags everywhere. And then dogs or somebody gets in the van and it looks like a war zone. You know, I mean, it looks terrible. I mean, all the trash that's all over the neighborhood. And I think that upsets people just as much, but I don't know. I believe if you're paying for a service and you don't get your service, you should get a credit. That's just my opinion, but maybe we would.
Even though the weather,
Not the weather. Weather's in the contract, but if you're backed up picking up and you're not able to pick up for somebody's house or missed 2 weeks of pickups, then I think they should be credited if it's not weather. Yeah.
if it's not good,
Yeah.
because I was gonna say, well, I don't know about weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're not here to make excuses, right? From what I've been told, I started about the same time Sam did this past summer. That was, unfortunately, I think, a common practice here, and that's just not acceptable, right? So we've made it through the staff shortage.
Yeah.
We're pretty well staffed up at the moment, so that's no longer an excuse. You know, just when it comes to weather, we're going to do the safest thing for the residents of Logan County, for our employees. The last thing we want is someone to get hurt over garbage, right? So.
Absolutely. That's understandable, and I think, you know, even mentioned in the contract about weather and
Correct.
those types of things. But anyway, I appreciate y'all coming and give us an update. Appreciate y'all's efforts. I know y'all doing all you can do. And you know what I'm saying, with your
Y'all have a card on you?
Yes, yeah, we've got cards here, so,
think I have y'all.
if you all have any issues, feel free to reach out to Taylor and I directly. We're kind of the boots on the ground, so to speak, be willing to help in any way. But like I said, if residents, like I said, use the outlets, that we have, reaching out to our office, the Waste Connect app, the quicker we know about any issue at all, the quicker we can help. And that's what we're here, and that's what we want to do, is help.
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate both of you.
all right.
Thank you all.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate them coming.
I know there's a spot in your area that needs,
So, some of y'all know I'm a preacher, so I'm gonna try to keep my sermon short, but if I get carried away and moved up here, y'all just yank me back, okay? We'll get-
let it roll.
shorten
You got
it
a
down.
big hook.
Yeah, there we go. So I did want to mention a few things that I did have in your folders. One I didn't. The county has what's called a solid waste 5-year plan. That was worked on last year with the fiscal court, and there's no documentation here, but that plan was approved. I just got that email today, so I want to let you all know. And if any of the folks want to see that plan or anything else or have questions, I'd be glad to take those and let y'all take a look at that. So in your folders, I put in a little bit about litter pickups. I do work with that in the county, and I have a monthly report in there for December 22. And we had some community service pickups and a nonprofit group that picked up. And they picked up, those are two of the big ways I have litter pickup. And they picked up 8.6 miles, 60 bags, and 28 tires in the month of December. And also in your folders, I have a yearly report. And in 2022, for that yearly report, we picked up 250 or so miles of roads, 2,230 bags of litter, and 257 tires. And we had 20 nonprofit groups that helped with that service. And if y'all have any questions about litter pickup.
Nathan, on that report, I see you picked up a vehicle seat, car parts, tires. It looks like another seat. Did you find the rest of the car?
No, I didn't.
Okay, just checking. Go ahead.
No, sir, I sure didn't, yeah. 6880 has a lot, and definitely looking forward to working with Jailer Toomey and with that litter crew when he's able to do
Appreciate
that,
you
so.
picking up that mattress on Lewisburg Road.
Yes, sir.
Nathan, how do you
Call I got.
take requests for roads to be picked up on? How does that work?
You sure can, just let me know and I'll see what I can do,
Well,
and, work
One
on
area
that.
that I know that was brought to my attention in campaign season
Sure.
was Highland Lake Road.
Yes, sir, okay.
From Sportsman Club down to the bypass.
Right by Walmart there is always dirty. We try to get nonprofit groups to help with that, and the jail has helped with that in the past as well, but yes, sir.
It's very thick.
Yes, sir.
Plastic and stuff.
I will sure get someone on
Speaking
that
of
as soon
which,
as I
man, if y'all
can.
could ever speak to y'all's constituents about trash,
Yes,
tell them
Yes.
to make sure they put it in a bag and tie it up.
Mhm.
That alleviates 90% of that junk that you see on the side of the road. It's coming when they dump those bins,
Mhm.
and you have all this loose debris in it, and you're
Just
gonna
goes
get
everywhere.
it. You're gonna get it.
Scott Waste really pushes that, what Thomas is talking about, but sometimes it just doesn't get done.
Bag it up.
Yeah, yeah.
I know like I said, that whole area across from the gas stations got a lot
Yes,
of
sir.
picket and whatnot. Now it's just natural magnet.
Yes, sir.
Natural magnet.
It is true. It is true. I will definitely get somebody on it.
Do you have a budget for school education?
I do. It's on,
Because we have noticed, I'd say when I was young, and that's a long time ago, when I was young, they had the Indian that cried on TV.
sure.
About all
I
the
know
litter.
what you're talking about.
And it
Yeah,
got tons better.
Mhm.
The litter just really changed. And when you have it in schools where the kids realize this is really bad, and though you don't want them to go home and say, Daddy, don't you throw that out the window, or Mom, don't you?
Mhm.
The
Yes,
bottom
ma'am.
line is, that is a really good way
Yes,
to
ma'am.
stop some of that. And one of the biggest problems we've seen is, no offense to guys with pickups, they throw it in the back, they go down the road, not my concern, but it is a concern.
yes, ma'am.
And loose trash in the back of a pickup is litter.
Yes, ma'am,
Close
absolutely,
it.
absolutely. It's a
So,
violation,
I
absolutely.
was wondering, you do have a budget for education?
Yes, ma'am, we do. We do different things with education. We do advertisements, and you'll see signs that pop up from time to time. That's paid for with that budget, and
good.
pens. If y'all need ink pens, I got plenty of them, and different other giveaways. And also, I do have budget to get into the schools as well. There's some of them right there. If anybody needs them, I got a bunch of them.
Do it out your window.
Oh, that's a violation,
Put it in
yeah.
the bed you blew out.
I would love to get in schools. If y'all know any teachers, anybody, I would love to just go into schools. COVID really hindered that. We had a program going, Tim, the recycling guy, and me would go into schools and talk. But
Coloring
it,
contest, drawing
yeah,
contest, that's after that.
all that,
Kids
yeah.
love it,
The
schools
state
love
puts
it.
on stuff like that, yes, ma'am.
Recognition, so forth.
And it is really where it's at as far as prevention,
It
is
is.
education.
It is.
So yes, ma'am, it's something I
Has
want
the
to
pickup
add
truck
up.
and stuff in the back.
Yes, ma'am, you were right about
If we go
that.
down the road, it's flying out. I mean, just about every day.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You're exactly right. In addition with litter, I do work with recycling. The recycling center there, Tim Pitts is the recycling coordinator, and I work with him often, every day just about, and we put out monthly reports. December was a short month because of how the reporting is. And so I did have the report there, if you have any questions on that. I did have a yearly recycling report as well. We took in 141 tons of recycling. Much of that is cardboard. That's a lot of what we process at the center. And we did have a 4% increase over 2021. So we were proud of that, to get a little bit up with. So, if you have any questions on recycling.
Go on.
Hey, I have a special request for next year. As a father with lots of boxes for Christmas time, and I'm speaking for a lot of other families that have lots of boxes Christmas time. Can we designate 2 or 3 additional baskets out there for boxes at
Okay.
Christmas time?
Okay. I can sure see about that. Yes, sir.
I'm guilty because it was like a mound overfilled, and there were some empty ones over here and, to the left, and I filled it up.
He knows, he got you on camera.
And I voted for those cameras. So.
We have a nice camera system out there, yeah. But I will mention that to Tim. If y'all would pray for Tim too. Tim's mother is gravely ill, and so he's really out of pocket right now. And but we will get, as soon as we can. I'll mention that too, and we'll work on it for next time. So there's some other
I do have
questions
one
too.
other question. Glass isn't taken anywhere, right? Not even nationally?
Well, there are places that take glass, but nowhere around here.
Isn't
They-
that a shame?
Yes,
'Cause
ma'am.
that doesn't break.
We used to be able to do that, but it was just such an economic deal that it was decided before my time not to
Yeah,
continue
I'm
to
not
receive
blaming you at all. I
glass.
just said there's
Yeah.
no plan for glass recycling.
If that was a decision the court wanted to go, then we would make it happen. There are grants available to get glass recycling going, if that was the direction you wanted to go, but it's certainly, it will cost some money, I'll just put it that way, because glass recycling
You
for a
have
long time has been
there was an
negative.
outlet for it.
I would have to work on that. No, I don't have an outlet immediately that I know that will
Well, I've
take it,
heard
but I have
it's
to
a
work on
nationwide
it.
problem.
It is a nationwide problem, yes, ma'am, so.
Do we get paid for every line item right here,
No.
except e-scrap?
E-scrap we don't get paid, and plastic we don't get paid for. I do not have an outlet yet for plastic where it's a positive economic.
So, like
But the
glass-
reason,
Glass would fall into that too, where you wouldn't get paid for it. We would actually.
I would have to look for it. There might be something I could come up with, but plastic right now is going through Scott Waste.
Oh, really? They
yeah.
just, after we rinse them out and everything, take them down there, it goes to Scott Waste?
It isn't,
Well, I've
so,
been wasting my time.
well, that's the best I can do right now.
Oh, I'm not
So,
blaming you. It's just interesting.
The problem we have is the amount we have come in, a lot of it's contaminated, and a lot of the plastic ends up, when companies want to buy it, there are companies that will buy plastic, but they want a large volume that we just can't supply them for the positive economic value on it, so.
Oh, I
It's
didn't know
something,
that. Okay.
it's something I'm always open to working on, but I have not found another outlet at this point that can take the volume we have, the lower volume.
The smaller volume of plastic.
Yes, ma'am. Mhm.
I didn't know plastic was also there.
Yeah, so, any other questions on recycling? Okay, so I also had some other stuff in your folders. I permit haulers and recyclers in the county, and so I did give a list of all the haulers and recyclers in the county for your information. And so I also bring these at the beginning of the year to be renewed. And so I did have in your folders one hauler, and they're called BG Dumpster, and they haul to Apex. We were talking about Apex, they haul there, and so they are presented to be permitted and I have all the insurance and other information available on request besides what I gave you all. And then I have 2 county recyclers that I checked, American Sustainable Pallets, which is just right over here. They recycle wood and pallets, and then also Morgan's Recycling, which is off Stevenson Mill Road in Tyler's district. So they both, I inspect those sites every year and check them to make sure they're doing what they need to, and that report is in your folder. And so I present both that hauler and recyclers to y'all to approve.
Make a motion to approve BG dumpster for hauling permit and also American Sustainable Pallets and Morgan Recycling for permitting.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion?
Yeah, I'll second it.
It's already been seconded.
Oh, I, okay.
All right, roll call, please.
Yes.
Goodman,
Yes.
Wilcox,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Holden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
All right, if there's no other questions or anything else, I'll take an offering and go home.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank y'all.
Judge Baker.
Yes,
Can we
sir.
take a 5-minute recess?
Yes, sir, we sure can. I was just going to
Make it
suggest
clean.
that. Let's take a 5-minute recess, please.
Thankfully, we didn't have none of them the last 5 days.
I remember that. Do you not? Do you not?
He'll be right back.
That's what's wrong with you, new generation. You want straight to heart.
All right, is everyone back in?
Kelly's gone, so we'll, yeah.
Let's see, let's go ahead and, Chris will be back. Yes, Chris will be back in just a second, so let's go ahead and, sorry, let me put my glasses on where I can see what I'm reading. EMS.
How y'all today?
Oh, good.
Reason I came today is we're going to ask the court to reopen up and accept bids for the remount of ambulance. Med 7 is the one we're looking at remounting this year. We have talked to about 4 different companies that claim they're going to put bids in this time. So you guys should, or a judge should have the bid specs and the ad and all that already. If not, I can get them to you. And if that was okay with you guys, we'd like to reopen that up and get some bids in.
Did those guys just forget to bid, or did we not get
Yeah,
the
it was a bunch of excuses from several of them.
But they are willing to bid.
4 of them have assured us that they're going to bid it this time.
Let's
Yeah.
rock and roll on it. We already agreed to do this last year, and nobody bid on it. Well, actually, it was what, December?
December. Remount of an ambulance. So the ambulances that we have, it's a box on a chassis. And instead of replacing the whole ambulance, it's cheaper to have that box remounted onto a new chassis. So they refurbish the whole box, put it on a new chassis, and it's essentially like a new one at that point.
Use the same ambulance, just new.
Correct. You can't do it forever, but we can usually get 2 remounts out of an ambulance when we buy a new one. So the last few years, we try to do 1 a year, and the last few years we've been able to remount some because we had some good new ambulances that were bought previously. So we're kind of in what we would consider a remount phase for our fleet here in Logan County. And that's what we'd like to do with Med 7, which is our oldest ambulance in the fleet.
And you have how many ambulances serving Logan County right now?
The county has 6 ambulances, and then ComCare also provides 1 spare that we keep here that's company owned. We have 2 ALS units on duty 24 hours a day.
How many?
2. We have 1 ALS unit that's on call 24 hours a day. And then that's outside the contract. We also provide what we consider our day truck. It's a 12-hour truck during the day that can be ALS or BLS, just depending on how we staff it that day.
Tell me what ALS is.
Advanced life support. So
and what's BLS?
It's basic life support, yeah. And that just goes to the certification level of the staff that's on it, is what determines that.
Where are they located, these 2 that are 24/7?
They're at our base on Nashville Street here in Russellville.
Both in Russellville?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious as to why then we have an ambulance building in Auburn that is empty.
Well, we keep ambulances there, and usually our call crew reports there when they're called in, but we don't staff that base 24 hours a day now.
That's what I'm curious about, because there's been an enormous growth in Auburn, and we have building coming out the kazoo.
Yeah.
All the way up toward Logan, Warren. And the biggest question I got was, why did Auburn lose their ambulance?
There's a separate ambulance license that the city of Auburn had years ago that they weren't able to fill, so the Fiscal Court of Logan County owns that license now. So they have the state license for Logan County and also the license for the city of Auburn are owned by the Fiscal Court. Under the contract that the Fiscal Court works with us, it's to place them here in Russellville. We can provide as many ambulances as the county would like, as Fiscal Court would like. It's just, it costs money and,
And that would need to be probably considered before June, or I guess probably May. We do annual contracts.
Right.
And so if
Around May, so it'd be before July.
Yeah, leading up to that.
Yeah.
And so if y'all wanted to do that, we'll put that out. And
I don't have the numbers.
Expense and
We have an enormous growth in Auburn.
You do, but that doesn't always necessarily translate into need for ambulances. The hospital, nursing homes and things, most of that's here in Russellville. Most of the calls Russellville's our biggest area of calls.
Well, I don't doubt
And then,
that, but we do have a huge senior development
You do.
that has been put in
Yeah,
since.
and we certainly, anywhere you guys decided you wanted an ambulance, we could provide it there. It would just
So
be
it
a
needs to
cost.
be something that I come up with all the documents you need. I need to provide it for the court. and then see if it's.
Well, if you guys decide you want it, you just put that in your yearly bid.
I
When we
would suggest
the
if we did
ambulance.
that, you don't have to
Yeah.
necessarily come up with that. You all would just need to have a discussion about expanding your bid, and then y'all would have to vote on whether you want to advertise that for the annual bid. And my suggestion might be to do a proposal where you ask for what we're doing now, and then also ask for a secondary option for adding a station
Give that license back to Auburn?
in Auburn.
Well, we need it.
Yeah, I would not recommend the court does that. Those are valuable assets.
So I need to talk to Mike Hughes.
No, the fiscal, Logan County Fiscal Court owns that
So
license.
it's no longer a city issue. Is
No,
it?
it's fiscal court issue, yeah.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
Did I understand though, you said that you keep ambulances at the Auburn facility?
They're
Yes.
there, but just
But
nobody's
just-
driving them.
They're just not manned 24 hours a day.
But if-
So we have a lot of staff that lives in Warren County, so a lot of times if someone's on call, we call them in because we have high call volume, that kind of thing. They would report to that station and run out
They
of
go to
there.
Auburn.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll bring this up, as Mr. Ross said, at a later date.
Sure, absolutely, yeah, and
I'm really
anytime you
grateful
guys need
because
anything, please give us a call.
That was the number one thing.
Sure.
Every elderly person, all the way from Highway 79 down to Simpson County line said, please. I said, I'll bring it up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you.
So I know of no reported problem with servicing Auburn the way we currently service. I've never had
No.
Uh,
a complaint.
No, I mean,
I think it's
I
just
mean,
a
I
sense of
haven't, so this is
security.
new to
It
me.
is,
The
it
reason
is.
I'm
But as
asking.
long as y'all's response time is where it should be.
yeah,
Well, they were telling me, of course, these are old people.
Sure.
And they're very concerned.
absolutely.
And they say it's taken 30 minutes to get somebody.
For some reason, anytime anybody is waiting for an ambulance, 30 minutes kind of seems to be the
Is that
number that
30
they always
minutes
bring
the
up.
number?
Ginger can tell you, I'm sure
All right,
that,
all right.
that- I don't know why 30 minutes is that number, but anytime where anybody asks or reports to us that they think there was a delay, that's something we pull up. All of our radio and phone traffic with dispatch is time-stamped, and we also have GPS trackers on all our trucks. So if anybody ever has an issue that they think an ambulance took too long, it's easy for us to pull up, see, and if there was a delay, was
It's
it?
all under you then?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, well, we had a former magistrate who was before George,
Mhm.
passed away.
Mhm.
And according to his son, it took so long for the ambulance to get there, he could not survive that long of a time with the heart attack. And this is why the people are very concerned about it.
Yes.
Because he was the magistrate for, I think, over a decade.
He was, yeah. And I'm familiar with that incident, and we had some issues on that one that we worked on, radio communication issues and things and that was a specific incident that I think we've addressed and fixed since then.
Okay, because
But-
he came to me personally
Yeah.
about it. Okay. Okay. All right.
Put it to a formal motion to allow the judge to put out for bids for remounting the ambulance.
Unit 7.
Unit 7.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilbeck,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
All right, anything else? All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
All right. Ray, did you have a report for us, Humane Society?
Thank you, sir.
Oh.
Thank you, sir.
Alrighty, good morning.
Good morning.
I am happy to be up here to welcome and to introduce myself to this court. My name is Ray Wilson. I am the director of the Logan County Humane Society. I have just completed my first full year at the Humane Society, so we have those numbers. Usually when I come to fiscal court, I'll present the numbers from the last month, but here I have the numbers from the last year. We started off at the year 125 animals, 79 dogs, and 46 cats. We ended up taking in 1,158 animals last year, 724 dogs, and 434 cats. That resulted in 679 shelter adoptions, 327 were sent to rescue. We had 100 animals that were lost and reclaimed by their owners, and we only had 72 euthanasias last year, putting us at our live release rate of 93.89%.
Periodically, I'll explain what the live release rate is to the court. Basically, it's an equation of our total number of intakes with our adoption numbers, rescue placements, and euthanasia numbers. We get to this percentage. The nationwide standard for, at this time in 2023, for no-kill status is 80%. In 2025, it'll be going to 90%. It was one of my goals of last year to bring that number up to the 2025 standard before then, so we can have a base to go off of. And we've done that, and I look forward to this year and raising that number even more.
All right. So I see the in-shelter count, we're currently sitting around 65 animals,
Yes.
64, 65 in the beginning.
As of the 31st.
Okay. And then that time last year, we had 125.
Yes.
I got one question. It's a pretty simple question. Do animals ever get euthanized based on the only fact that you can't find a home for them?
No.
Okay.
Not under my tenure. We have animals currently there that are going on 13 months at the shelter.
Okay.
The reason is for illness, usually?
Illness or behavioral issues,
Oh.
if they're a danger to the public or the staff.
Right.
And I apologize, I'm a little under the weather today.
No problem. Thank you for coming in.
Appreciate you, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
No
Thank
questions? All righty, thank y'all. Y'all have a good one.
All right, you too.
All right, we have one more, archives.
Good morning. I think I've met everybody except for Chris. I'm Denise Shoulders. I am from the archives. Here to update the rest of you on, last summer we applied for a grant to expand our storage at the archives. We did not get that grant. With that being said, I'm here to get renewed support from the court, since more than half of you are new, to alter your building, since the county archives is a county-owned building, so that we can apply for a new grant. And I say we because I'm getting help from Stacy Watkins, and she has found somebody from the state who is going to help us with this, a grant from Kentucky Department of Library and Archives to increase our storage, so that way when she has a archive dump that she needs to make, we're ready for what she needs to move out of her space into ours. So my request is, does the court support us altering your building by having mobile storage installed, because that's what we're mainly after, and it's the storage that is at the courthouse, that it rolls and it collapses so you get more storage in the same amount of space.
So it's just like devices. It doesn't change anything structurally. It's just.
No, but they'll be attached to the building, so that's interior.
Well, the question is, how long will that last down the road? Because if you continually have dumps, you're going to run out of space again.
That's what our plan is to, I've been measuring every space that we have that we can add to or change the current space storage, and long term, I think we'll last for a while. I don't know. It's been a while since the county clerk's office has sent records to us, or at least an overwhelming amount. I don't know how long it will be, and I don't even know that they're sure how long it will be before they need to do that. We just want to be ready for when that happens. A lot of the space that we have to work with is vertical space. We can't go out right now without adding to the building itself. So a lot of it is the roller shelving. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. If you've been over to the county clerk's office, all of their books are on roller shelving. So the majority of what's in the building now is maybe this tall, and we can go up to 7 foot. So there's a big amount of vertical space that's being wasted. So that's part of it, but then the other part of it is this mobile shelving that rolls, that will triple the amount of storage that we can put into the same space that we have now.
So you just need us you're going to reapply for this grant?
We're going to we're going to apply for a grant with another entity.
Okay.
But it seems to me if you need a bigger building, you need a bigger building.
I don't know that we as the archives and don't necessarily want a bigger building, because what happens to the old jail if we vacate the building? We don't want the building to be torn down. I would rather work with the space that we have as much as possible versus losing our historic jail.
So will adding that new stuff create 50 more years of,
Potentially,
or
yes.
100 years? Or?
Potentially. Because the next thing that we could do in the future down the road is, and I invite you all to come over and take a look at what we have to deal with for space. If you're standing in the house, the old jailer's house, and you're looking into the old jail, on the west side of the building, from the floor to the ceiling, it's completely open. So there's the possibility of having a second floor built there, which would go a long way for additional storage space down the road when it's needed.
And your archives are dated from what point?
Some things that we have in our building predate the state, 1792. 1792. We have a few things there from 1780s. We're one of the few counties in the state who are lucky that we've never experienced a courthouse fire disaster or other such record loss. The record loss we have is either because the state has come down and purged records for whatever reason. We did have a county clerk way back in the day, in the 1800s, early 1900s, that when he left office, he said, "These are mine," and he took the originals. Anything that had his family's name on them, he took the originals, so there's that record loss. But for the most part, we don't have record loss at all.
Okay.
And back in the 70s, when the archives was created, the clerks that we had then, Kenny Chapman and I can't think of the other guy's name. We've had, there were two, but they decided that they would not turn the records over to the state to be microfilmed, because if you do that, we don't get them back.
Oh.
So very little of our records have also been filmed, and that's something else that we're going to be, as the Genealogical Society, we're working on a plan for that to get those things digitized.
So if you've got them dating back to the 1700s, what kind of condition are they in?
Believe it
In
or
your
not,
building.
Believe it or not, the majority of them are in good condition. We do have some of the extremely old ones that are very brittle, which is why we want to work on a digitizing project so that we can no longer need to handle those things.
Yeah.
But if you'll come and see us, I'll show you exactly the condition of the records, everything that we have in the building. Everything that's public record in the building. You can walk in the building and say, "I want to see this. I'm researching this person. I'm researching this topic," and we do everything we can to pull those records for you.
I'll make a motion to allow the archives, the building, to apply for a grant for extra storage and allow Judge Baker to sign anything that associates with that.
Oh, I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe we've got through that section. So let's go, move on to judge's announcements. I'm going to roll through these as quick as I can. There's a couple of letters in your folders. One is from the Logan IDA for second quarter fiscal year, funding all, thanking you for funding all, funding in all the magistrates as being your court folders. There's also a summary report for the Black Fly. Prepared by Essence, or Incense, in Science, excuse me. The lead IDA meeting will be held tomorrow morning at the chamber office, and the 2023 MLK Unity Walk will take place January the 12th, 2023, beginning at 9 a.m. at the Jesus Church in Russellville on 637 East 5th, and they're going to march up to the Justice Center. All right, now let's move on to the next one, which I don't think we have any reports, so let's go with citizen participation. We have anyone that? Okay, if not, I don't think we have any old business. So let's roll on to new business. If it's okay with everyone, Stacy has got some things that she's got to get done, her and her staff, so I'm going to go ahead and move item number 10. which is the county clerk's 2023 fee budget and the maximum salary for deputies and assistants. I'm going to go ahead and move that up to the top, if that's okay with everyone.
Y'all don't want to sit here for another
I think I might be here longer than that. We just need this, don't we? So that long one you're looking at is our estimated budget for 2023. And then you should have something that looks like this. It's gonna be the maximum, yeah, what Chris has. It's gonna be our maximum salary budget for the coming up year. Which I had quite a bit of help from Amanda. Thank you, Amanda. I have quite a bit of help from everybody.
This
There it is.
one? Huh. It look a little like.
Do both of these at the same time.
No, we gotta do them separate.
I think what to do is budget report.
All right.
Well, I'm glad to see we're still taking in just as much money on fishing and hunting licenses as we are marriage licenses again this year. So it's always,
There's still hope.
as an avid outdoorsman, I always like to see that.
That's so funny.
Make a motion that we accept the budget report for the 2022-2023 year.
No, this is just the 23 estimated
The
budget.
the 23 estimated for $9,247,365.
And we do anticipate, I mean, this budget is not exact because
can't.
it just comes from a best educated guess.
It can't,
And we anticipate bringing in way more than that, but we'd rather under-promise and over-deliver than,
Backwards.
exactly. But also, I wanted to point out, Aaron did go in on line 55 for Thomas. Like you had pointed out when we presented the amendment, even though it's not broken out as like separate individual line items, it's the lump sum of the particular category, but I did list what goes into that category.
Miscellaneous you're talking about?
Yes. Line 55 was confusing. For as long as Scotty's been here, that line has always been miscellaneous, as far as I'm aware. And what we did, just so that y'all could see where that money, where is that money going, we wanted to make sure that we kind of broke that down. So she did create a line 56 and 50. Just 56. But 55 will be line 56. That's just, this is the budget we have to work with off of the Department of Local Government. So making changes to it's not real easy. No, you can't just go in and, but we did go in there and try to establish what that money's going for. And then also on line 32, you will see in lines 33 and 34, it broke out what that other income describes. Yeah.
You're talking about the gross, part-time gross
If you're
salaries?
talking, go back to receipts, like money coming in. So go back to page, it's gonna be your third page, yeah.
Okay.
So there was a other line on
Yeah.
line 32, and it's vague as far as, why are we making this other money? So she did try to give an explanation as well on line 33 and 34 as to what that entails. So.
I second Thomas.
Okay. We have a motion and a second.
He made a motion, I'll second.
Thomas made the motion. Chris seconded. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Wilbeck,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, and then maximum salary, do y'all just acknowledge it, or do we, I don't know, does that get approved, Amanda, or do they acknowledge it?
It's typically just included with the other ones.
Okay. So, maximum salary, okay.
Is
So
that
we
your
free?
motion, Thomas?
Yes, sir.
Was that
Okay.
your second? Sure. Okay, we're good to go.
All right, thank you, guys. Y'all have a, I'll try to bring y'all some candy next time. Okay, bye, y'all.
Hey, I got a whole bag of it right here.
Not Diet Dr. Pepper either.
I've been holding back. I've been holding back.
I'm not feeling strawberry.
All right.
Strawberry for you?
Our next order of business is to discuss letter and donation request from the American Red Cross of South Central Chapter. Last year, we made a contribution of $2,500. This year, we have $1,000, if I'm correct, earmarked for this contribution.
$1,000 in the budget.
Yes.
I sort of missed what you said about what last year versus.
Last year was $2,500 is what. And this year, there was $1,000 budgeted for this contribution
To the Red Cross.
to the Red Cross. Yes, ma'am. Just need a motion and a second on that.
Make a motion to approve the donation of $1,000 to American Red Cross as presented in the budget.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any question? No further question or conversation? Roll call, please.
Davenport?
Yes.
Goodwin?
Yes.
Wilco?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Crawford?
Yes.
Bolden?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes. Okay. New business number 2, or actually be number 3 at this point. Discuss quotes for vehicles to be used by the coroner's office. Ben, would you like to come up and explain what you've got going on there?
I've got you 3 quotes here. There was $30,000 put in the budget to purchase a new vehicle for the coroner's office, basically because the one that we've got is in such bad shape. It's not roadworthy enough to get all the way to Louisville and back. We don't think. It's pretty old, and the 4-wheel drive's been disconnected on it, so it doesn't work. So anyway, the money was put in the budget for another vehicle. Well, if you've bought used vehicles lately, especially vehicles that are 4-wheel drive, you'll find out real quick that $30,000 doesn't go very far. So I've called dealerships all over the state and down into Tennessee, even reached out to some that the sheriff gave me, and the best that I can come up with are these 3 bids here. As you see, one of them is under budget. One of them is about $14,000 some change over budget, and the other one's about almost $7,000 over budget. 2 of them are Chevy Suburbans. Both are all 3 are 4-wheel drive. One of them has 120,772 miles on it, and it is $36,950. The other one is a 2018. I have a 2019 that has 60,000 miles, but it's 44,241. And then I've got one that's locally owned, that's a 15, and has 106,000 miles and the price of $25,000. So I would recommend that we go with the one that's $25,000, is locally owned, and I know the vehicle. I remember when they bought it. It's been garage kept and taken very good care of. So that's the one I would recommend that we go with.
Can you have a garage kind of look it over?
Well, thankfully, the gentleman who owns it just took it to the garage last week and had it serviced, and he's taking it back tomorrow to get some things fixed on it, some hoses replaced that were time to be replaced. So,
Dry rot or whatever?
yeah, just from age. So,
I mean, if you think that this 2015 is feasible for what y'all need it for, I don't see why we can't.
I think it is, because we're not going to put a tremendous amount of miles on a vehicle. It's not going to be driven on a daily basis, and these vehicles today are made for well over 200,000 miles. I just sold one myself that was similar to this that had 180,000 miles on it, and the gentleman who bought it came and put a code reader on it, and it was completely clear. They'll last a good long while, so I believe this will do us good service, you know, for a few years to come.
Anything over 30,000, you have to put out for bid, right?
It's over 30.
But it's the one folks under that, it's the building.
And you've seen all three of them?
I've seen them online, the two of them I've seen online, one of them I've seen in person. The two online, they look nice. I mean, I'm not gonna argue that point. It's just the price on them's more than what we've got budgeted. And I wanted to be a good steward of the money and save as much money as we could, because there's other things that we're gonna be needing. And if we don't spend it all here, we might can use that money towards something else that the office needs. And there's lots of needs in the coroner's office, which we'll talk about at a later date.
I would just say if you were not going to pick the cheapest one, you'd have to have a reason not to, and it sounds like you only have a reason that you want to take the cheapest
Right.
one.
I think the cheapest one is, you know, a vehicle you know and that you've seen on a, you know, daily basis, not quite daily, but see a lot. And you know the people who own it, you know they've maintained it well and taken care of it. It's mainly been driven by a female. So it's been garage kept and taken care of. Although females have heavy feet too. My wife, she puts it to it on the car. So.
Is this the only, you think this is the only vehicle you'll be needing for the department?
I'm hoping it'll be the only one, but we'll see. With time will tell. I would suggest the old one that we've got, we should get rid of that soon.
We can just put our next surplus sale, so we could put that, you know, if it's.
Yeah, I think we just probably need to get rid of it, because
Sheriff's got a bunch of cars to get rid of too, so.
it's not really, I mean, I'll be surprised if we get anything out of it, because it's eat up with rust. It doesn't start properly. It looks pretty rough.
Somebody throw it on the farm and ride.
Somebody might, you know, haul your farm hands around in. I mean,
Some woman might drive it and it can be lady driven.
Oh my gosh.
yeah, maybe so.
What's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion to accept this bid.
Make a
He
motion.
says it's been well maintained.
Make a motion to accept the lowest bid.
For the 2015 expedition.
Oh, I needed to read it.
Well, just say that as your motion.
2015 Ford Expedition EL with 106,000 miles for $25,000 to the coroner.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Makes it clearer. Thank you, Jim.
If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodman,
Yes.
Wilcox,
I want to abstain from that. I want to abstain from that.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Okay, well, we got you up there, Ben. Let's go ahead and talk about the lease agreement with Young Funeral Home for the the space that the coroner uses at their facility. Basically, this is just a lease agreement, taking the current payment of $350 per month and moving it to $500 per month. The original contract was signed in 2014, so that's basically what that.
Is this from a month to month, or is there a set time? Or is
There is no set limit.
Okay.
They're under the understanding that we are
Leaving.
leaving eventually, and that's why they put no
Okay.
dates on this.
60-day notice.
Yeah. Month to month.
I'm sorry, I missed that, yes.
60-day notice to terminate the lease.
It's going up from 350 to, I thought it was going up to 450, but 500, if that's what he told you.
Yeah, that's what's in here.
Okay.
But
My apologies, I didn't see that, I missed that.
Yeah, it would be my hope that we'll be
I
out
see
there
it.
in 6 months.
Yes,
It
my
says
apologies.
60 days.
My apologies, I see it now.
Make a motion to accept the lease agreement with Young Funeral Home with a termination of 60-day notice from either us or the lease before, and the dollar amount is $500 per month.
Second.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodman,
Yes.
Wilcox,
Yes.
Harper,
yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item is quotes for a new server to be used in the Logan County Judge's Office. Scott, do you have anything you'd like to say about that? This is the server for the Judge's Office.
Both these quotes should be pretty much identical. The one, I believe, from CDW is the best one. The reason we are replacing, or my suggestion is to replace this server, is one, because of its age. Two, it's already started to have hardware failures. We've had one hard drive on this server fail already. It's not the most optimal system to have down. So as soon as I can, my desire would be to replace this for that reason.
What was the lead time from both companies?
I don't know. I do know from CDW, this was almost identical server that we got for the county attorney's office. Identical package to that. And I think it took a week to get the server here. And then once everything got configured and transferred over.
So your recommendation is the CDW?
Yes.
Which is also
What's the warranty on that?
It is a 3-year, I believe, warranty.
Which CDW?
CDW is, yeah.
So is this a maintenance kind of decision, or is this a new purchase decision?
This would be a replacement of the old server. Like we have a server currently, we just want to replace the old server.
Right.
I guess what I'm asking is like, is that more like a typical something
Yes.
that's in the budget that takes?
Well,
Yeah, it should probably happen before now. I think it's pretty old.
yeah, the server down there is probably better, what do we think, 10 years old is what we said. And yeah, the server operating system that's running on it is no longer supported by the manufacturer. And the hardware itself is out of date. The hardware may be able to be utilized in another way, but as far as for the purpose of it being the main controller for the judge's office and the purpose it serves, we need something updated and secure.
I guess what I'm asking is does something like that require us to vote on it? Or is there a lump sum amount in there for just general maintenance and that an expense like that? I guess it's more of an education thing I'm asking.
Even if it's in there, we have to vote on it. It's over $2,500.
Yeah, okay. So that's the primary reason is the amount.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Unless it was like an emergency.
They don't have to come up here to buy copier paper.
That's what I was sort of getting at.
It's actually $49.99.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
We raised it to $49.99.
Yeah, well, over 5,000. Sorry.
Okay.
But then you also get into issues, I think, when you're buying a bunch of stuff from these entities, they can pile on together. So if you were, like, we ended up buying over $10,000 worth of various computer equipment because my server was 3 years older than this one.
Yeah.
But all the computers were out of date. So you got to not only think about the single purchase, but your annual purchases as well.
And we haven't always had an IT person. We just created this position last year. So I think a little at a time, Scott's digging into what we've got and how old stuff is, and a little at a time we're trying to get caught up.
I'll add to that. For my short little week here, Scott has been extremely helpful with everything he's taken care of. Getting a lot of things taken care of. So
a great asset to my office. And
absolutely. I think for the entire county, he's been wonderful.
So just for clarity, the money to purchase this though is budgeted.
Yes.
It's just we have to prove it because it's over a certain amount.
Yep.
Gotcha. Yep. Well, I make a motion to purchase the the server from CDW at a price of $5,009.44.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Wilczek,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Okay, our next order of business is, as I've discussed with most of you guys, and magistrates, is the acquisition of purchasing, iPads, so we can try to eliminate a lot of this paper that we are rolling through. Basically, we would turn your files into more of an electronic system. Scott has come through and got us a quote for 12. I think the recommendation is to go up to 12. I'm not sure 12 is the magic number. We're still kind of evaluating that, but I'd like a motion to go up to 12 of these.
Again, the purpose for this is, with the amount of paper that I've seen y'all go through in the short time I've been here, you could have bought these. I have no doubt. You know, and I understand for some things, paper records are necessary. But for the purposes of y'all going through everything, having these up here, one would be a tremendous cost saver, you know, in the long term. Also a convenience that, you know, you're not fiddling through papers trying to find what you're looking for. You know, you can go right to it, pull it up, read through it. It's clear, you know.
With that being said, we did this at the school board when I first started over there, and we went from multiple amounts of paper to everything being digital. A lot of this information is to wait till today, the day of court, to get, you can have ready to you through the documents.
So, to give you a little bit of history, 2 or 3 years ago, we purchased our own gov domain, the Logan County KY.gov, and we also subscribe to Google Work, or like a Google subscription to where we have Google Drive, Google Docs, and all that. It's kind of like a inter-office thing. So that's how all of you have your emails. I'm District 1 at LoganCountyKY.gov, 2356. But we have an organization type email that's controlled by IT. And so what will happen for the meetings is that since we all have our own email, like say an item, one of these items is this, some kind of agreement. So this will be a PDF on Google Drive. You'll have the iPad and you'll go to Google Drive, and this will be a PDF on its own, and it'll say, you know, memorandum agreement, and there'll be item number, whatever number it is. And you can, on your iPad, open it up and go through it and look at this agreement without having to have a piece of paper.
Right.
And it's been successful at the school board. Like I said, we did that a long time ago.
Is that a task that falls on Scott or Olivia?
It'll be Olivia.
And you just organize it, I guess, either by meeting date or something.
It'll be a meeting date, and then like each PDF will be numbered probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That way it's in order of what we're doing.
And so, will I be able to go back, say in 2 years, I'll be able to go back and pull up the minutes from this meeting to see what we should be able to search?
And she could, also, instead of just sending an email out to minutes, she could have a separate shared folder called minutes and share by the minutes, so we don't have to go back.
I love it.
All this should be accessible way further down the road without having to go through your filing cabinet at home or whatever you're keeping all these documents
4 years
in.
of folders is already getting pretty.
I did the same thing.
2000 already, yeah.
It was one of the things that I noticed that when I first started coming to meetings, that I seen a room for improvements.
Did you build an addition on your house for these?
I kept them for 12 years, and then I took them to the recycle center, and we have a huge shredder down there, by the way. And they say I'm the only one that uses it, so, you know, I go down there about once every 3 years, and Plug that dude up, and let me tell you, it'll eat anything you put in it.
Yep.
It'll shred it, dude.
These are not documents we have to take to the
Yeah, so I took 12
archives,
years
so.
worth.
we'll-
One trip. Hold back in of utility.
I
Well,
make a
that-
motion to approve the purchase of the iPads from CDW.
I
Have
do
a-
have a question.
Oh,
As far as payment wise, because that was not a budgeted purchase. So are we planning on paying that out of county judge data processing equipment and transferring from the occupational tax? Or what is the plan for payment?
So, I guess the two that I'm thinking of would be a contingency appropriation that we would have, or we could pull it from occupational tax. We typically pull those types of things from one of the contingencies account, correct?
Like, I mean, if we can pay for it out of our county judge data processing equipment and then transfer the money because there won't be enough in there from occupational tax contingent. So I guess my question is that what you all want to do?
Yeah, it needs to be part of the motion where it comes from.
I make a motion.
Is that all right with you? Is that the best place?
That's where you
got that?
have
Got it.
room for movement.
And then we'll make that transfer request. We'll do that in the next meeting, I guess.
It'll be on your budget transfer.
Yeah. Make a motion to approve the 12 iPads up to 12 iPads from CDWG at a unit price of $325.10, in case it's less than 12. And we'll be paying for that out of county judge data processing line item.
I had a question about, are they just gonna be Wi-Fi, there's no cellular?
There's no cellular.
That's what.
Just one.
And they stay here.
Yeah.
They stay here at the,
That's best practice, only because she'll be able to come up the day before and see that the iPads, are synced up and the latest data is on there, and they just stay here. That's what we do at the school. They don't send them home because then
but we can still access.
you can still access your Google Drive.
Yeah,
remotely.
that's kind of.
You can still access anything on the Google Drive, your email, calendars.
Picturing
It's
and
like
having it with me at home, but I can do it.
Well, the day before, she'll be able to set them out or whatever and refresh and make sure the updated information is here for us the next day. Otherwise, when you bring it in with you last minute, it's like, oh, I'm not getting anything.
Dumb question, but do they come with chargers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking Olivia's gonna have to.
No,
figure out
you gotta bring your own charger from home.
Well, I was gonna say, I'll probably take care of the physical tablets,
Gotcha.
but, work with Olivia on doing making sure they're all set out.
Does anybody not have home access to a computer?
You can do it on your phone too.
Yeah.
I mean, you can download Google Drive app on your phone and pull it
Yeah.
up that way.
Correct.
Cool.
And the only reason I'm saying that, if
Yeah.
there was somebody who
Right.
didn't have a tablet at home and wanted it, I'd want them to be able to take it.
Yeah.
You know,
We can work that out.
yeah.
We can easily work it out.
If 5 of them will work, and there's no sense one of them.
Well, and I think that was the reason that we went on with the 12, up to 12. Realistically, that way we would have at least one, maybe 2 spares. If something happened, we would have it ready to go. So we had a motion. Do we have a second on that?
I made the motion. I don't know if he made the second.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Carver,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Holden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Let's jump back up to number 2 on the coroner's vehicle. We need to change that motion to allow payment of that, correct, Amanda?
He wants to go ahead and pay for that before the next board meeting, and we didn't authorize payment.
It's my mistake.
No.
So do we just need to amend that motion?
Make the motion, so
Or make a new one, either one.
if you're in agreement with amending your motion to allow the judge's office to go ahead and make payment on the vehicle.
Okay, I'm fine with that, to amend my motion, but do we need to then re-vote it?
Yes.
Because it would be amended,
Yes, ma'am.
And I'll second that amended
Okay.
motion.
be
Okay.
amended to be paid, that's
Okay, any other discussion? If not,
We redoing the same motion?
we're
You
amending.
abstain.
She's just adding
It's the
verbiage.
same
Just
one
making
you
sure I
abstained
wasn't-
Yeah, I know, it's a mouthful. We've got amendment in a second, so let's go ahead with roll call on that, just to make sure.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Abstain.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Okay, next item, approve the agenda with Commonwealth, excuse me, my apologies, my eyes are messing with me today. Approve the agreement with Commonwealth of Kentucky Department of Agriculture and Logan County Fiscal Court regarding the spray and neuter pet procedure grant. I think this is the $1,900 we received for neuters and grant, or neuters and grants. It's been a long morning.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
I believe it was $1,500, wasn't it? Is that right?
I thought it was 19, wasn't it?
1,900, okay.
The grant we got from the
Yes.
state.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion on that? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Rovak,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Next line item, approve the order of affiliation with Logan County Search and Rescue, Logan County Fiscal Court, and the Logan County Emergency Management. This is basically just paperwork that they need showing that we recognize them.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Rovak,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Next order of business is the, approve the resolution to authorize jailer Joshua Tuma to collect the bond fee in the amount of $5 per bond. Mr. Ross, can you please explain this for us?
Yeah, and actually, I don't need you to take any action on it now, as I know there was an email in your initial packet, and that was one of the things they suggested getting voted on, and you all did vote on that. I was wanting to have something more formally written out because there are sometimes issues, there have been issues that come up with certain jail fees for inmates. It got put on the agenda, I got something written up. Though we had never done that before you all voted on it, as far as I knew, or as far as Amanda knew, there was an ordinance passed back in the early 90s when the law originally came into place that would cover it. So this would be totally duplicative, but it was late enough that we weren't able to pull it off the agenda. So I think with your all's vote and that prior ordinance in place, Josh is good to go ahead and start doing that.
And I had a copy of your draft that you created, so.
But my biggest concern would be just making sure he's set up and ready to do that. So whenever you are ready to start collecting that with your proper infrastructures and internal policies, I think you're 100% covered by their vote on the 3rd in that 92 ordinance.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Just to clarify, what we voted on last Tuesday covers the same topic.
Correct. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right.
In case somebody came back and challenged it, I wanted it to be a little prettier and thorough than a voice vote, but what was on the books prior did that for us.
So we need no action on that, correct? Okay, I thought I remembered. All right, approve public office bond for deputy coroner appointee Mary Givens.
And that motion needs to be retroactive to her swearing in.
January
You swore, yeah, correct, Judge?
Yes, it was last Thursday, January
5th.
5th. Thank you.
Make a motion to approve the public office bond for deputy coroner appointee Mary Gibbons, retroactive to January the 5th, 2023.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Woodchuck,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. I believe we have about covered everything. Do we?
I got one thing
Go
posted
ahead.
agenda. Joe, you'll have to help me with this, probably Thomas. So I've got a road and, I'm wanting to do a public road hearing, but we're having, so there's a 30-foot easement and we've got to make it 40 foot for county standards. So there's one landowner that don't want to give up 5 foot, so the other side of the road, that landowner said he would give the 10 foot down the road. Is this an issue?
It's from the center of the road. right?
Just 20 feet.
So it's from the center of the road, so it'd
You'd
have
have
to
to move the road.
be 20 that way and 20 that way. Yeah,
So what if the
my
road's,
initial response is yes.
what if the road's 40 foot wide already? Or what if the road's 30 foot wide already?
You'd have to ask Kelly.
Okay. I just didn't know if there was a
You
written
can still,
rule
you can
somewhere.
still request the road hearing, and you work through that in the weeks to come.
Okay.
You don't have to wait and get an answer for that.
It does require equal distance from the center, or can the easement?
It always has in the past,
That-
that's all I can
that-
tell you, that'd be a first one
I
for
mean,
me.
That's what my initial thought would be as
Be
well, and I
going
know
like
we
this
talked
down
about
the
it.
road.
Also,
This is 2 roads now.
That's another
I'm
one?
having- yes,
Okay,
and this
but
is
kind of
a
like
bad
we
deal.
talked about on that other one, if it otherwise met the requirements of having enough houses and everything else, you could always take it up to that, I would
Yeah, well, this is at the beginning.
have
of
some
this
people.
road. I just didn't know, I mean, I know there's a formality of the road's got to pass county spec and the road's got to be 40 foot wide, but I didn't know if.
I think the
in-
spirit of it would be those, so people who work in the right-of-ways have that room, so in
But the
theory-
right-of-way contractors, do they go in and say, okay, this road, I need to figure out where the right-of-way is? And do they see that the right-of-way is only on the east side of the road, all the, you know?
Well, I think the right-of-way is gonna be on both sides of the road if we're. Correct. The presumption is the right-of-way is on both sides of the road. I guess if there were some wiggle room, but in theory, if you weren't looking at the middle of the road, you could have one road where the right-of-way was all on one side, and that would leave no right-of-way on the other side, which is what you gotta have.
I think worst case, you can do your part, your due diligence of magistrate is adding it to the county road system. And then if, let the neighbors work that part out, I mean.
But my theory is that, well, because this will be maybe the 3rd road that I'm in the process of doing, and, like, the final step's not been done on any of them so far. And I don't want that stuff just laying out.
You're not the first person who's had the issue of getting all of the landowners to come to an agreement. There's frequently one holdout, and I don't fully understand why, because though that does hurt you not having that right of way, there's a whole lot of benefit to that too when it comes to caring for that road, getting the road department to clear ice and snow off of it, but.
Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna make a motion to have a public road hearing on Coles Road. It's about 4 miles north of Russellville on Highway 79. It's, I had the length somewhere. It's 1,205 foot long.
Second.
And it does meet the county specs. And then I do have the recommendation letter here from the county.
What was the name of the road one more time?
It's gonna be Coles Road, Coles. Coles Road.
You haven't added to it.
Yeah, I'm making a recommendation, or I'm making a motion to have a public road hearing. And then after the public.
The gravel now?
Yes, it's gravel now. It meets all the specs.
And just for the benefit of everybody else, the current practice, before my time, but I think it's worked very well, an ordinance, or a resolution rather, was passed about basically you all having an agreed upon criteria and process, and that's why Jason said it meets the minimum standards of that. Once it gets once it's voted on and approved, it will not go on the county road system until the proper paperwork is completed, and since it's not a platted subdivision, the landowners or one of the landowners would need to obtain a right-of-way deed giving us the ownership necessary to take care of what we needed to do on each side of that road, and it would not actually come onto the road system until such time as it met that
Would
threshold.
that have to be surveyed?
It
So
would.
they would have to pay for that survey prior to coming?
Correct. Well, no, not prior to coming. You all can go ahead and vote, but it will not go on the books until it's surveyed. And the only reason you have to have a survey is you need a legal description that actually describes what that
Exact location.
right-of-way is for a legal document. So, and that's not a county attorney function of mine, because it's what private people have to do. Typically, they can use any attorney to do that. The biggest expense usually is the surveyor, though. So,
Okay.
So when you make that request for a road hearing,
It'll be on the next agenda. And then we'll have a road hearing, and if nobody hears in opposition, for or against or whatever, then, you know, we'll vote to add it. And then if it passes, and then we gotta go through the next steps, as he just said. And that's kind of on the landowners, the next few steps.
Kelly,
Kind of like what I was talking about this morning.
I came into office and one had already been made, and it took 6 or 8 years for the landowner to provide the easement and the deed to the county. 6 or 8 years.
And it,
And I
but
reminded me twice a year, and I was like, oh yeah, I need
Coach
to
the
get that done.
landowners.
and it might sound like that's a whole lot of work for a whole lot of roads, but a lot of these are caught up with the subdivision regulations. If that goes through, is approved by us through that process, and the Planning and Zoning Commission accepts a plat, those plats will have the right of way we need, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel on those. So you're purely just talking about a road like Jason's talking
It's more
about.
rural.
Yeah, where
It's
there's
not
just,
subdivision.
yeah.
Gotcha.
I didn't know if it was approved or
Because,
need to be approved, you know.
yeah, I mean, that right there is,
So we need,
we need.
No, that's just more education.
is there anything else on post agenda? I thought,
I made a motion.
Roll call.
Oh, yes,
Oh, I
sorry.
didn't get a second yet.
yeah, second.
Oh, okay.
oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. My total apologies.
I'll remember. That's right.
It's been a long morning. Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilbeck,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Golden,
Yes.
Bacon.
Yes. Anything else on post agenda? If not,
Make a motion to adjourn.
got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? Oh, roll call, I guess.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilbeck,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Golden,
Yes.
Bacon.